This is the Black Empowerment Show with Sista Shanice, giving you an African-centered worldview perspective. Keep it locked this way, it's the real deal. Bucky Josada. But that thing, play by the great king.
Sista Shanice in the house. If you're hearing my voice, it means there's breath in your body. It means it's a new day. A new day for you to be working towards accomplishing all the goals and aspirations that you have painted up inside of you. Tune in to Sista Shanice on Galaxyafiwe, the only de-brainwashing station. Every Wednesday for Black Empowerment shows and alternative Saturdays for the community talk shows from 10 a.m. through to 1 p.m. Join the discussions, join the debate, and get involved. You can tune in via www.galaxyafiwe.com, or for Android phone users, go to Play Store and download the Galaxyafiwe app, or find us via TuneIn in the app. Sista Shanice in the house, in the house. Galaxyafiwe, providing a platform for the voiceless to be heard. Spread the word. So if you're interested in becoming a presenter here on the Big G, you feel that, you've got a powerful message for our people, you've got the commitment, you've got the drive, and you're willing to contribute towards the works of this radio station, get in touch with either myself or Nico the Most Royal. We welcome you on board, okay? So I want to thank the entire Galaxy management team for all the works, and actually we had a management team meeting just last night, and one of the decisions we made that I'm pleased to announce is that we're actually going to be inviting members of the community who've got events, who are organising community activities and initiatives and want to get, a bit of promotion about the event. We're going to start running promotional jingles about community activities and events for a small contribution that's going to go towards the running cost of the station, okay? So if you're interested in taking advantage of that opportunity, that's a new door that's going to be opening up for our community, okay? As you know, we've got a long-standing objective not to run, adverts, so we're not going to, go too far down that road, but we are going to be opening up to sponsorship, and you will get, the kudos and the credit and the recognition for sponsoring this wonderful radio show, because we need to pay the bills and keep the ship afloat, okay? And that does actually take some financing and resourcing. And so, we want to support you as we always do, but we also want you to be able to support us back as well, so that we in turn can contribute towards the works that need to be done here on the Big G in a financial way, okay? And, we want to be able to continue putting events on like Summit of Solutions, Parents and Ancestors Day, drumming, and all the other events that we tend to put on throughout the year, and we want to be able to do it free of charge as well. So when we've got a little bit of funds in the kitty, it enables us to cover those costs. And we have a beautiful, beautiful family, and, we know you love to give, and the event coming up on Sunday, completely free of charge. But if you want to make a donation, please come prepared to do so, and that will go towards the costs that we have had to outlay to put this event on. But the event is free. We're not putting any pressure on anybody. We would rather that you came, and socialize with the family and contributed in any other way that you are able to do so, okay? Because we are a community that's rising. We are a people that's rising, and, we want to rise together, and there's works that need to be done. And in this society, as we know, it does take those bits of paper for us to be able to rise and do all that we need to do and want to do in order for us to rise. And talking about, us rising as a people, actually, let me play you a clip from our dear sister Angelou.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise.
All right.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? just 'cause I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room, just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just 'cause I laugh. As if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh, does it come as a surprise that I dance? As if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, naturally,
woo! We rise!
There I go rising.
What a beautiful, beautiful poem there by our sister. Oh, so wonderful. Rising up, Professor Maya Angelou. And that was a wonderful recital of her poem there that was published back in 1978. And that's a beautiful thing about when you do poetry, when you do music, it's timeless. It's called Still I Rise. And I'm sure that our children's children will be enjoying the lyrics of that particular poem. And, there's so much of our history that we can pack in poems, that we can pack in songs, that we can all relate to. And our poetry and our music is so, so important. Hence why, we need to keep hold of it. We need to keep control of our music. We need to keep control of our poems. We need to keep control of our dance. This is all part of our culture. Our music, our dance, our poetry, it's who we are. People, nations express themselves through their music. We express ourselves through our poem. We express ourselves through our dance. So if we're not in control of it, if we're not managing our music, if we're not managing our dance and our poetry, if we're not in control of how we express ourselves, which is, our culture and who we are, if we allow others to, hijack our culture, hijack our music, take control of it, then what they're doing is they're manipulating us through our culture. They're going to, dress up our culture differently and give it back to us, and we will embrace it because we recognize it as part of us, but not realizing that it's been contaminated. So let's stop allowing others, to take our music, to take our culture, to take, bits of who we are, and sabotage it, to dilute it or to fragment it or to poison it and give it back to us, worse still, to give it back to our children. Let's try and keep hold of our music, keep it true to who we are as a people, and keep it true to that spirit of advancement and upliftment that we are aiming for. Okay, so we are a people who have come a mighty, mighty long way, and we sure do still have a mighty long way to go. But the beautiful thing is that we are rising. As Etana, put it so beautifully at the top of the show, I rise. And as I rise, you rise. As we rise, Africa rises. As Africa rises, we all rise. And that's why I'm excited about SOS and the whole theme of Summit of Solutions. certainly looking forward to it. So, as I was saying before, we are people, we were born strong, and why were we born strong? How do we know that we were born strong? We just have to look at our history, see where we're coming from. Just remember the kingdoms, the empires, and the glorious cities that our ancestors built, that our forefathers built, to make us realize how strong we are. Just imagine, somehow we knew how to lift huge boulders. We could elevate huge boulders, and there's evidence of it all over Zimbabwe and the southern parts of Africa. Those huge boulders, we put them on top of one another like we would place Lego on top of one another, and to this day, they don't know how we did it. And sadly, a lot of us, we've lost the knowledge of as well of how we used to elevate and lift those huge boulders, how we would build cities and kingdoms, out of granite rock without any mortar, and these these walls would stand, for 20, 30, 40 feet high. And run for miles, some of them, and we were great nation builders. And if we were able to build nations in the past, if we were able to build great kingdoms, great empires, and great cities, which if they still stood today, would stand head and shoulders above any other city that actually has been built during these recent times. If we could do that back then, imagine, when we're back in our own mind, spiritually, culturally, economically, physically, etc., when we've got our own mind back. Just imagine, where we will be again as a people. So, we are strong. Our ancestors have made us strong. They went through so much, just so that we can have the freedoms that we're enjoying today. So let's not take advantage of the freedom that we have. Let's not waste our life. We are the descendants of survivors. Yes, so we have that survival spirit inside of us. It's impregnated in our DNA. We are a powerful people, who have been able to rise above adversity, who have been able to rise above any circumstance and any situation that we have faced. I'm not saying it's been easy. Of course, it could not have been easy. But we managed to go through and still remain standing, and pick ourselves up and rise above it. So I want to encourage anybody. I want to encourage somebody out there who may be going through something or feel as though they're going through some situation that, they feel overwhelmed by. I want to let you know that you are a survivor. I want to let you know that you can, cope with and confront any challenge that is impacting on you today, and you are able to rise above it. Put fear behind you. Fear, as we know, is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. And quite often, some of the situations that we're faced with, it appears as though it's going to be absolutely devastating to us, but there is a way through. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, and we can always rise above every situation, every challenge that we have in our life, every situation that we find is testing us in our life has only come to strengthen us. It may be a health situation. It's come because, we've got to overcome certain health challenges. It's come as a warning. It's saying, we've got to sort our health out. As a people, we have moved a long way from our health culture. Just like we're moving a long way from our spiritual culture, from our musical culture, from our economic culture as a people. We've also, we're still some distance away from our natural, culture that determines how we maintain our best health. And so as a result, there are many of our people who are experiencing health challenges. But, let's go back to Mother Nature. Let's go back to our Mother Healer, which is, the herbs and the bushes and the trees and the barks and the berries and the fruits and the vegetables. Let's go back, to the days when our people were strong and climbing coconut tree at the age of 80, and not walking around with walking sticks at the age of 50. When we look at it, we're in a position now today where we can look back, to the lifestyle of our parents, some of our parents and our grandparents, especially if they were born and grew up in the Caribbean or in Africa. And we can see how healthy they were during those times. We can see how healthy, they lived their life. We can see how when they, took their food from the ground and when they picked their fruit from the tree, when they used all the herbs and the vegetables to season their food, we can see, the health benefits that they had from all of that. Almost all my great uncles and great aunties lived till they're in their 90s and over 100. But, these days it's a miracle if we do. Some of us, many of us have got family members struggling to make it past 50, struggling to make it past 60, much less 70 because of, our change in our lifestyle. So we've got to get back to what's best for us, yeah? Economically, health-wise, spiritually, and that's what today's show is all about as well, because we're going to be talking about Summit of Solutions and what we've got coming up for you there. We're going to be speaking to as well a couple of our guests who are going to be also at Summit of Solutions. I'm really excited about that. We as a people, we've come such a long, long way. And let me just bring in a song that just reminds me of what we've got to do as a people in order to get through the challenges that we need to get through as a people. Okay, and let's have our brother Buju tell us, shall I? Because we have, as a people, we need to stand up. We need to do what we need to do in order to survive these difficult times and to get us through. But lying down is just not an option. Yeah, we've got to stand up and defend our rights. Let's bring in Buju, who says it so wonderfully in song. Or also the words of the great Marcus Messiah Garvey as well. Yes, so, we've got to stand up. We've got to defend our rights. We've got to keep, pushing as a people so that we can continue to rise as a people, because we are rising indeed. And so, as Buju was saying, we've got to stand up, we've got to defend our rights. And so, more power, more strength to all of those who are out there defending their rights, who are standing up, who want to be the change, who are about making the change that they want to see from us as a people tomorrow. So rising up, the entire Galaxy family, for the great works that you're doing on a daily basis out there, and rising up our brother Buju Banton for the wonderful lyrics in that song there, reminding us that we are a mighty people, reminding us that we can accomplish what we will, reminding us that we must stand up and defend our rights. And that's what we've got to be about during this dispensation. So let's flip back now, shall we, to Summit of Solutions. It's coming up this Sunday. Family, you asked for us to, you were like ringing up, when's the next Summit of Solutions? We need another Summit of Solutions, because we need to come together as a community that, we need to, Summit of Solutions is happening this coming Sunday, the 15th of March. And I'm certainly looking forward to seeing you all there. It's going to be at Classiques in Tooting Bec. Some of you might think, that's a bit of a distance, but take the tube. That's the best mode of transport. Just take the tube to Tooting Bec, because when you come out, it's about a 2-minute walk. You just cross over the road and walk past a few shops, and then you will come to Classique. So it's a really easy place to find, okay, in Tooting Bec. It's going to be a wonderful day. It's going to be an action-packed day. And as you know, we've been speaking to some of the guests that we've got lined up for our Summit of Solutions. So if you've missed some of those guests that I've interviewed before, then just go to my SoundCloud and you can hear about the Back to Motherland movement by our sister Yah, okay, that hand-holding project that's supporting people who want to return back to Africa. There are already more and more Black Americans who are returning to Mama Africa land, and she's providing support for them to establish themselves, establish a home, and to establish businesses on the motherland. So we heard from her We heard about her financial assistance program, and hopefully some of the family have actually invested in that. You know, you just contribute as little as $1 a strong, yeah, and it's going to contribute towards 100 people being relocated. We're living the Marcus Mosiah Garvey dream. You know, 100 years ago, this is what he was talking about. We're living it now. So you can go to YouTube and you can find out more about that Diaspora assistance program, okay? And then last strong, some of you would have heard me speaking with our sister Taiwo, who was telling us about investment opportunities in Nigeria, and she was sharing some of her tried and tested strategies for investing in property, for investing in Africa. She set up her own company there, the Global Africa Investors Alliance. If you missed that show, you can go to, I think that one's on SoundCloud. Just go to Sista Shanice on SoundCloud and you can find that show there as well. There's a movement happening, my people, a movement happening, and you know, it's a wonderful move as well. And not only is the move happening amongst the Americans, it's also happening amongst us here in the UK as well. And I have on the phone none other than one of our very own galaxyafiwe presenters who is in the process of making a move, who has made a move, and is going to be sharing with us, you know, some of his experiences so far. Our brother Jamenyah, rise up, brother. Have we got you on the line?
Yes, you have, sister, brother Jamenyah here.
Ah,
how
brother.
are you, sister?
Ah, yes, my brother. I am good, and how are you?
Listen, I can't complain because I'm here in Africa at the moment, and I'm just looking at what's taking place in regard to the coronavirus in UK, and I'm just so concerned for our people over there. I want to rise you up for keeping the people's and our people's spirits up. You know, when looking and seeing what's taking place, I'm very concerned for our people over there, you know.
So we may well have some new listeners who may not be familiar with you, my brother Jamenyah, and you've got a show here on the Big G, and you go by the name of Jamenyah,
that's
Jamenyah,
right. Yeah.
love it, you know, here on the Big G. But at the moment, as you said, you're out there in Ghana. But, you know, he's, I suppose, very much a Londoner, but African at heart. And he's been working alongside us here for a little while on the Big G. And in a secular world, I know that you're into mechanical and electrical engineering. And I know you've always talked about wanting to take your skills, wanting to take your energies, wanting to take what you've got to Africa, wanting to take what you've got to Africa as well, and not just put all of your skills and efforts here. So I'm really excited that you're there now. I've been seeing some of the videos. It looks like you've been having a lot of fun, you know. First of all, before we go into Africa, please just tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the Galaxy family.
Okay, rise up, Galaxy family, and all those who may be tuning in for the...
Yes, carry on. Okay, what's happened? It seems as though I may have lost my brother Jamenyah. You've certainly gone, my brother. Please do call back. It looks as though you're still on the board, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Are you still there? Okay, we seem to have lost our brother Jamenyah. Please call back, my brother. Please call back again. We've lost you, but our brother will call back, and he's calling all the way from Ghana, so we have to expect, you know, a little spanner in the works sometimes. So our brother Jamenyah is just calling back now. Let's see if we've got him back on the line. My brother, you were just about to introduce yourself, and then the line dropped.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Jamenyah. That was not the name I was born with. I was given the name Marlon. I grew up in London, Fulham. I went to Henry Compton School for those from the West London area. So Fulham, Hammersmith, Shepherd's Bush, Ladbroke Grove, Kilburn, really those are where I came from originally. But you know, as life goes, we're a people of migration. I've lived in literally all parts of London and outside of London as part of life. I used to be Christian. I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. And I served as an elder in the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses for a number of years, but due to not being able to agree with what I was learning and had to teach, as I tried to study to make sure that I did all things without hypocrisy, I had to leave there. Africa has always been something there to me, but I didn't appreciate exactly how serious Africa was to me, because Africa is me. And growing up, we always used to watch documentaries and people, missionaries coming and talking about Africa. But in regards to my part of Africa, that's really happened over the past, seriously, 5-6 years, appreciatively. Really shifting and appreciating just how important we are to Africa and Africa is to us. So I had the privilege of being an associate with the Black Father Support Group, which is how I got introduced to Galaxy. And I also sent some information about myself to you, Sister Shanice, which you translated to management, and I really appreciatively was included to come onto Galaxy. So my particular background is mechanical and electrical engineering. I do that as work. I'm an SME. It's an okay company. I'm not going to pretend it's bigger than it is, but I have a company. I like to call it organization. It's called the DACA. And the DACA stands for the Diaspora and Association for the Regeneration of the Caribbean and Africa. So overall, it's been going for about 20 years. I also teach it and train in colleges in regards to bringing in young people to apprenticeships from start to completion so they can become qualified. And that is really a goal that I would really want to migrate into Africa. But things take time. And so although I had a fixed plan to come over the engineering, that's something which takes time, because to do it properly, I really want to be registered. It needs to be done in a way that I can take projects and contracts and not feel I'm falling short of the law, because I haven't come over to Africa to break the law. So what happened is, I came with a measure of fluidity. I came in 2018 on a business mission. I looked up on YouTube and I looked at so many videos of many people, and I have to say it was primarily sisters who were coming and sharing about what could be done in Africa. And I finally found one that, with what she was saying and with the reviews and the footage that she done, I felt she seemed viable. So I went on this business mission in late 2017, and I thought it was very good. It was very well organized. They showed what could be done in Africa, and then she arranged for a business mission to come over to Ghana. And so I came over later that year. I spent and invested the money, and we went to a number of businesses and also government offices. The Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Finance, the Blue Skies, who is the biggest producer of pineapple juice, which is what we're going to come on to. A whole host of government institutions and then reputable businesses. It was for a week, but because I was so touched, not just by the business, but by being in Africa, I wanted to go and get to know the people more about whom I had been introduced to. And I spent time there and I got to know them. And then one in particular was a farmer called Albert, who currently has 100 acres and is trying to expand to 1,000. The government is given all the materials needed for them to expand, but they have to find their own investors. Now, I decided to take that calculated risk after doing my homework, after speaking with him, after seeing him, after meeting his family, his operation. I decided to take those few pounds and take that calculated risk. Many thought I was foolish, to do it. I've lost my money, haven't you heard of how many people lose their money? But because of how he had presented himself, I believed him to be trustworthy. And to be honest with you, that investment paid off. I got my money back and my returns. And now I've done it, I'm trying to open it up and share it with others, because this is something that I myself through my company have done. I'm still in contact. He's busy. He's trying to expand. We're actually moving now into value addition of taking the pineapples and producing juice. And that's what we're really talking about, because this juice is better than Blue Skies. Let me explain who Blue Skies are. Blue Skies are the biggest pineapple distributor here in Ghana. This is an English soldier who left here 30 years ago. He married a Ghanaian. He set up a pineapple factory, and nearly the majority of pineapple farmers sell him their pineapples that he makes into value addition, ships it to Waitrose, Lidl, all across the world, and they get their peanuts, and he makes massive profits. So they're trying to obviously have more Ghanaian-owned business, and this is what we're trying to do and get through now. So what am I talking about here today? Well, my brothers and sisters, I'll be honest with you, there are a host of investment opportunities. And it's not just about investment, because sometimes it can sound like we're just talking about money. No, it's about us helping our people with the little bit that we have to be able to kickstart to the next level, so that they can in turn help us go to the next level that we would not be able to do without them. You see, they have the land, they have the real wealth, and they have the means, agriculture, and the knowledge to be able to progress things in a way that we don't. But what we do have
Oh, we've lost you again, my brother. You'll realise in a second, and our brother will call back. We've just lost our brother Jamenyah, but all being well, he will be calling back shortly. And we'll just have to cope with the line dropping in and out. Thank you for your patience, Galaxy family. So our brother Jamenyah is now back on the line and back with us. Sorry, my brother, you dropped out there again, but welcome back.
Thank you. So what we are looking at here is an opportunity to invest in a genuine African business, which is run by Africans, which is worked on by Africans, which is a beautiful business to be able to contribute to and to make financial returns. So you can put your money in an ISA, and I think at most you'll get like 4.6%. Sometimes they range up higher. Well, just from starting in 1 year, you can get 10% return. There's no way you're going to get returns as high as this. Mm-hmm. For 2 years, you get as high as 12.5% accrual each year. So after your 2 years, you'll get 25% return. And it continues to go up, which if we need more, we can talk about. Now listen, I'm appealing to this, not for myself, but because it is a business opportunity. Obviously, we're here to make business, but it's about having honest, business of integrity. Mm-hmm. So these things don't have to be just done on word. I know the Summit of Solutions is coming. I will hope to arrange so that we can have a conference call so that you can speak to not just the pineapple investor, but there are others. I don't want to overwhelm our brothers and sisters too much because there is so much opportunity here. Mm-hmm. But the pineapple one, because I've done it and because I know that it's safe, because I've got it contracted as well. I went and I got a lawyer over here that I met on the plane, lovely sister. Mm-hmm. I got her and a company over the contract. Then I went to the Commissioner of Oaths, so that it's done on a local level as well, mm-hmm. so that when an arrangement is made, you can have confidence that this is done contractually. It's not something which is done on a whim. Yeah. So I've set the framework and the pattern so that it can be reproduced.
Wonderful, wonderful words, my brother, while you've been over there in Ghana. Thank you so much for searching out the opportunities. And, you can hear what our brother's saying. He doesn't want to overwhelm us because there are so many opportunities. And, rise yourself up as well for, testing out the opportunities before bringing it to us. And I know what you're saying when investment isn't our word. I suppose if I was to use a word, I'd say it's nation building. This is what we're talking about, nation building. We're talking about us, building factories and owning those factories, controlling those factories, having more control over, our produces and what we grow on our land in Mama Africa, who we sell it to, where we sell it to, what goes in our produces, what goes in our food, what goes in the drinks that we drink. This is a control that we need to have. This is the control we need to be taking back. And this is, the control that we are in a position to give back to our brothers and sisters on the Mama land. And as we give back, they give back to us as well. We're able to do so much more there, and by working with our brothers and sisters, than we can do here in the UK. Is what we've been talking about for ages. And so it's great that you're out there. As the family knows, I've been out in Zimbabwe as well, and I've been doing my research on the ground. But I wasn't going to come to the family with something until I was feeling as convinced as you are feeling about this pineapple business initiative. I've tried and tested as well, and I've not come back yet feeling that I've actually got the one. I think I've got one that we may be able to look at going with as well, and I'll be presenting that at Summit of Solutions as well. That's the goat farming one, and we've got a number of other opportunities that others will be presenting as well. But we might have to just spread our risks. We might decide that we're going to spread our risks. I think that's what I'll be doing. But I'm feeling excited about this one, brother Jamenyah. So as you were saying, you went out there in 2018, you met the farmer, you invested in the farmer, you've gone through now the whole pineapple from growing to harvesting to and to getting back your returns. Do you want to talk us a little bit through the process of farming pineapples and what it would look like that's going on?
Well, you've got 100 acres here. So imagine 100-acre rows, and if anybody needs, you can contact me. I'll give my number as well. Obviously, everything is within or alongside galaxyafiwe.com, and obviously in conjunction with Starlight Global. So while I'm saying you can contact me, we must remember that I'm not trying to push my company or organization. However, if you want to learn more, then obviously it's easy if you get in contact with me.
And just to reinforce what you're saying there, because everything that we're talking about, we're doing our best as a community to come to our community with what we consider to be genuine opportunities. But with business, there's always a risk, and we have to always be mindful of that, but if we don't take the risk, if we don't take the chance, then we're never ever going to see change. And so we're doing the best we can so that we can begin to put in place the economic opportunities, the businesses that can bring some economics back into our community so that we could do the nation building that we want to do. Okay, so Brother Jamenyah, tell us what pineapple farming looks like from seed to harvest. Are you still there? Oh, look, he's going to have to ring back again, I think. Yeah, he's going to have to call back again. We've just lost our Brother Jamenyah again. But, I'm excited about it, and I hope you're feeling the same way too, family. Brother Jamenyah, are you back?
I'm here.
Wonderful. Yeah, so, give us a bit of a visual about the pineapple farming process. How many jobs are we creating, for 100? I think 1 acre is about the size of a football pitch. So 100 football pitches, we're talking about here. Carry on.
Right, that's right. Football pitches of rows. Now you've got two types of pineapple. You've got the MR2 and you've got the sugarloaf that are being predominantly produced. Now I did speak about GM, and he did assert, because I was very clear that if I invested, I didn't want my investment in anything genetically modified. It had to be in the natural Ghanaian produce. So that's key in regards to this business. Can you hear me?
Yes, my brother, listening to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
So making sure it's an investment in naturally organic Ghanaian produce, because if we're going to invest, it has to be for the benefit of Africa. Mm-hmm. So there's rows, they're done in furrows. So it looks like corn rows, but look at them as pineapple rows, Yeah. And with them, it's a 12-month period of growth. However, it takes 3 months from that 12-month period to really get everything turned around in regards to finally ripening, packaging, and sending out. So altogether, it's 15 months. Mm-hmm. However, Albert has matured. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're still hearing you.
Well, the investment takes place within a 12-month period, 24 months. Now, when you look at the rows, you see them growing from obviously small fruit upwards, and they point upwards, don't they? The bushes are coming from the ground upwards with the pineapple in the center, and you literally take it, twist it, and cut it. Now you do a test on it, a sugar content test, and that's what shows when the pineapples are ready. So you're looking at a 12-month period, and that's why the investment are done in minimum periods of 12 months, just because it takes 15 months, but 12 months is the period that we're working within, and we will absorb the 3-month period of the money to be made back, but at least, in 12 months you'll have your money back, so it feels more regularized, and people know when that 12-month period comes, their money's coming back.
Yeah.
So,
wonderful. And how many jobs are we creating? How many jobs will, our investment be financing on this 100-acre pineapple farm that, we're talking about?
When I went there was at least about 40 people packing.
Wow.
40 people packing. Then you've got the two different managers. Because he's extending different areas, he had an older manager. Now he's got a younger manager who's also there, so that he can manage the next 10 acres that they're testing to see the ground over there. So they've just got another 10, so that would be 110 acres, obviously. Yeah. And they're still working towards 1,000 acres. So, you're looking at a massive packing operation. Yeah. And it's very humbling and see how they work so well. I mean, even here, people think Africa is chaotic. You have to just sit and observe and see how the Trotro system works, how organized. When you see people build their little shops, you think, it looks a mess. No, if you look very carefully and see how well it's stacked, how well it's organized, you realize our people are so ingenious.
Yes. Yeah, the line's packing going in and out a little bit, but we'll continue to work with it. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's some squeaking going on, but we'll do our best. So it takes 3 months, you were saying, from the point of picking to packaging the pineapples, and then where do they go? who is the farmer supplying the pineapples to at the moment?
Right, so mainly it's going to this English fellow who set up his company 30 years ago, which is Blue Sky. And Blue Sky has Waitrose, Lidl, all the major companies in Europe. So he can't get enough pineapples.
Yeah.
And he's taking nearly everything the pineapple farmers are growing, he's taking it.
Right. So, wow. And he's been established for 30 years. And so, to go into pineapple juicing then, would we be looking at supplying new markets then, the African market? And what commitment do you think there would be from the African farmers to start supplying our new pineapple factory?
Well, we've got it there already. All it is about investment. They can grow it. They've already got links to the factory. When I mean links, he is the main, one of the main pineapple farmers that have been brought into this new Ghanaian factory that is trying to produce an equivalent to Blue Skies.
Ah, right. So it's already established. It's already in existence. So it's not at the stage where we have to buy all the juicing equipment.
Oh, it's all there. So what they're looking for us is to sell the juice or invest. Now, obviously, I bought some here, and it's so good. It's better than Blue Skies, and it's so rich. What they do is they take the juice in Lidl, Waitrose, and they actually water it down, and that's the juice that you buy the little tropical, because it's so rich.
Yeah.
Now, it's pasteurized. It has a 6-month shelf life. So this is something which will stand the test of time. It's an excellent juice, and we can get it for a reasonable price and make excellent markups in the UK.
Yeah.
Plus, we're going to get it in markets here in Ghana, because it's good enough to get into the shopping market. Remember, there's shopping malls here.
Yeah.
Please, people don't...
There's shopping malls all over Africa, isn't there? There's an African market as well. We don't even need the European market. I mean, obviously, the European is there because he's feeding his people. He's supplying his people in his markets. But, we need to supply our markets, don't we, with products that we know, are healthy, have been produced in a sanitized way, etc., etc. Let me just go back a little bit, get some clarification. So we've talked a bit about the farming, and we've got a bit of a vision of 40 people on the land, after the pineapples are ready and they're packaging and they're sending them to mainly this white man. But there's also, you said, this a Ghanaian pineapple factory that they have established or in the process of establishing and want to expand on. Tell us a little bit about that. Because we're talking about investing in pineapple farming and also pineapple manufacturing, or are they two separate business initiatives?
No, they're two separate business initiatives, but one feeds into the next. Without the pineapples, you can't produce pineapple juice.
Yes, I get the feeder bit. I just wanted to know. So we sorted out the farming side. Absolutely fantastic. Tell us a bit about the manufacturing side now, please.
Okay, so a factory was set up by a private company, but it was so polished that the government has put their hands around it as part of an initiative which was called the One District, One Factory Initiative by President Addo, Honourable Addo. Now, because it's done so well, they've actually found that they've got a Ghanaian produce which is of high quality, so they've put their loving arm around it, you could say, and they really want to get supported because it's a made in Ghana produce, it's a black-owned factory, and it's a polished factory. Now, I've got the links for the videos. I've also obviously got the juice itself. I myself managed to even sell some here to a health shop already, so I know it will go.
Yes.
I think it as a base. In the moment, I'm looking to see if I can get a marketing amount so that I can get some across to the shops in UK, and we've already started speaking to suppliers here. And we're going to go and do more about that. So I got the price. It's all about buying. But at the moment, I'm looking to see if I can get a marketing amount, which will allow us to go and distribute it and let people get to know it, because they're going to have to invest. And that's what I'm trying to bring to them. Allow me to take care of the international stroke, at least European stroke international operations. Give me some. You obviously may have your own. I don't think they have, because it hasn't been out on the shelves yet. So I'm trying to step in and say, look, we have enough weight behind us and enough organisation to be able to manage this.
Right. So you want to try and help them find new markets, international markets.
Well, if we get it into England, it is international straight away, isn't it?
Yes.
And if If I get it across to Nigeria, which we're in discussion, then it's international.
Right. Yes.
So it starts with one country,
Yeah.
but it's still, and even here in Ghana itself, it's still business which is making money for us.
Yes, yes.
So I've got people on the ground here to start selling. Do not get me wrong, this is something which we will manage. And I think that's something to speak about the Summit of Solutions.
Yes.
You know, when you go to the stock market, which I don't like because stocks, well, you know, they put us in stocks and bonds, stocks and bonding. But when you do go to those environments, what do? You invest in a company, and the company takes the money and looks at a number of investment opportunities, and they invest them so that you get your best return.
Yeah.
So for those who are able, or even those who are able, what you can do is you can allow us through Galaxy to act as that facilitator. We've got the ACU there as a bank, haven't we? And we can make use of to be very careful. Now, those things will be open to discussion. You know, the difference is when you go, you don't really know much about the company. You've got to do your research. No, when we sit at the Summit of Solutions, we show the companies which we are investing in, so you understand exactly where the money is being apportioned.
Yes.
And then on their private levels, what your investment agreement is, that's yours. But everybody knows exactly where the money is going.
Yes.
And we have regular, you know, see progress. Plus, I'm very good. I make sure that written reports are given so that everybody gets at least a document on WhatsApp or the email to say this is where we are, a little spreadsheet, you know what I mean? Eventually, I'll get it online so that I've got a website so that you can just go online and be able to access it and see what's going on with your investment. So we have the nation building, not investment. And that's not about, that's if it's my website or we make one via Galaxy Summit of Solutions.
Yeah.
Allow us to manage it for you, our people. Allow us to do it for you.
Yes.
Ask for.
Sounds great, sounds great. Brother Jamenyah, let me open up the lines and let me rise up some people who've been WhatsApping me while we've been speaking as well. Yeah. So I want to rise up Russ iTech. He's saying great pineapples sounds like Queen Sugar. Great series about an African American family who take over a sugar mill. Okay, there's another story there. I don't know if you've heard about that one. Rise up Ras Tech. Rise up Sister Win, who's locked in as well. Tell him to do tiny sample packets for locals and get their feedback as well. Okay, so there's a suggestion there from Sister Win. Want to rise up the family in the Gambia that's locked in as well. Rise up Sister Julie, who I met in the Gambia at Turntable. She said she's locked in. Rise up Brother Abraham, listening from the Gambia. He loved the introductory rhythm as well. Said he's listening, but not sure if he'll be able to phone in. But my brother, you can certainly text in. Got you locked on. Want to rise up Sister Angie, Brother Abdul as well in the Gambia. Rising up Sister Pam. Also Dr. Bilal gave me a thumbs up about listening in as well. Another amazing man. He is the what would you call him? What's it? He is the equivalent of the cashew fruit. What's his name? Gava is to the peanut. He's made like 46 different produces, yeah, with the cashew fruit. I'm sure if you was to get him to Ghana, he could just substitute the cashew fruit with the pineapple fruit and equally, come up with these 46 range of different produces. I mean, he had like cashew liqueur, cashew wine, cashew whiskey, cashew soap, cashew, he made cashew cake, cashew bread, cashew ice cream. Oh, it was going on, and it all tasted absolutely amazing because, like you say, in Africa, you taste the fruit, you get the taste of the real fruit. But by the time we taste it here in the UK, it's all watered down. Anyway, let me open up the line, shall I, and allow the family to interact, should they want to do so. If not, if they rather just listen, we will continue to have this dialogue because it's so interesting what you're telling us. So, Galaxy family, if you want to interact with us here on the Big G, we would welcome your engagement and your interaction. The number that you need to call in on is 0207 193 0174. we've got about half hour before our next guest, so let's make the most of the time. Yeah, our brother Jamenyah, as you've heard, he is in Ghana. Yeah, and not only is he having an amazing time, because I've been seeing his videos and the fun that he's been having over there, networking with brothers and sisters up and down the community there, but he's also very much on a business mission for us family. And he's not just taking us, and suggesting that we contribute our nation building efforts in a project that he hasn't tried and tested, but he has tried and tested this entire process, and he's on the ground seeing how it works, and it's fantastic, and you're as excited about it as I was about the potato farming that we was doing, but it turns out with our potato farming that we just couldn't get the land. Rise up, Sister Julia, as well in the Gambia, who's listening in, and we've got Brother Kwame on the line. Greetings, Brother Kwame. Are you there? I'm trying to add him. Yes, you're there. Brother Kwame, you've joined us live and direct. Go ahead, my brother. Brother Kwame.
Greetings to yourself and greetings to Brother Jamenyah. Yes, he's very good. Yeah, greetings.
You must be smiling from ear to ear, because this is your country, Ghana, we're talking about today.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, indeed. So, what Brother Jamenyah said, before I do it, anything?
Yeah. Now what's up?
Come again with that. Tell me what to say again.
What to say? How are you? What to say?
Yeah.
Is I'm
fine. Finger out while he's there, yeah. So basically, I just him.
Nice one, Jamenyah.
Yeah. So, Brother Jamenyah saying is 1,000% correct, and what he's giving you is a snapshot of what's out there, because this government is investing a lot in agriculture. As Brother Jamenyah has really pointed out, there is a one district, one factory program being earmarked by the government at the moment, and in addition to that, the government is also encouraging farming by having what they've termed it, hunting for food and jobs. So what it means is that they are giving, like Brother Jamenyah has already said, they're giving the farmers the seeds, the mechanics and what have you, to actually, help them with.
Yes.
You still there, Kwame?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
Carry on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and so carry on, Kwame. Carry on.
Yeah. So I just think that the government is aiding the farmers right out in terms of, giving them seeds and, seeds and other.
We've got it bad. The line's getting bad. It's getting a bit difficult to hear. Let me just allow, Brother Jamenyah to respond to what you've said so far about the government initiatives, because he's on the ground and seeing, the impact of the government initiatives. Let me see if I can hear Jamenyah without the interference that we're getting when you're speaking, my brother. Jamenyah, are you seeing the evidence on the ground then of government support to small farmers?
Listen, people have different feelings about the government, At the end of the day, our father Nkrumah is loved because the vision that he had was cut short. But many have different feelings about the government now. But I just want to say this. When you come and see the size of Ghana, and when you see what the government are doing, I don't think you feel like criticizing them. Yeah, because you realize that actually, as flawed as we all are, they're doing a great job. Now, there's still room for improvement, but there's still things happening, and they are supporting businesses. There's a lot of room for improvement. As I said, for you generally to set up here, you need $200,000 and a Ghanaian partner. That's for you to officially set up. Now, it is going through a period of change, but in regards to investments, imports and exports, especially in agri-producing, you have no problem. They are very encouraging of it. So that's a way of us being able to get started in business, help African business grow, make money, and not have the problems of even risking of falling short of the law. And also we have tourism in this, because remember the pineapple farm, I can describe it to you in words, but it's better that you come and see it. Yeah. So just as Sister Shanice, the package for Tanzania and Gambia, when we get back we will work on the Ghanaian package so that you have that option as well. And it all
Brother
feeds
Kwame's
into our
already
galaxy.
said that he wants to do a trip to Ghana next year. So, definitely make that happen.
That's right, and we do it. It's for us. But then what it does is it provides an opportunity for you, those who feel able or wanting to come and see it for yourself.
Yes.
So that you see it's not just words. It's not just words. And my people, you have to ask yourself now, are we on the airwaves, in the ether, speaking lies? You have to really, and if we are speaking lies, then our lives will be taken. Because we can't go against the divine way and our ancestors. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is not something that we're playing about with. This is something which is done in honesty and integrity. Not perfect, but I tell you what, you can trust that this will be done with honesty and integrity.
Yes, family. And remember, we've done so many shows where we've talked about governments, European governments, the Chinese government, the Indian government, all, getting their act together and going to Africa to invest in Africa because they see the opportunities there. Even now the EU, without the UK, have all come together, to talk about how they can work out a way of working with Africa. So I've got an article here. EU rolls out new Africa strategy to counter China-US interests. So, they all need Africa. The EU is trying to work out now through this strategy how they can develop a relationship or not hinder their current business relationship with Africa. They're trying to counter China and counter the US interests in Africa. As we know, the UK have been going it alone, and they're trying to re-establish and rekindle their relationships with Africa, with their Commonwealth former colonies. The Chinese are there. They're all out there, and we know that our brothers and sisters would rather work with us. It's for us to get ourselves organized. The Americans are getting themselves organized. We've got to talk about how we organize ourselves in a structured business professional way, so that we can be the ones contributing towards the growth and development of Africa, because we have seen that with the Europeans, the Chinese and all the others, all they do is take, rape, strip, plunder. That's all they do. They don't give. But when we go in, we're going in to give. Brother Jamenyah, before you go, let me remind you, from now that you'll need to give out your telephone number. I'm getting messages and inquiries for your number, okay?
Okay, so for the Ghana number, it's +233
+233 50 722 703. Let me get that and write it down at the same time. Come again, Brother Jamenyah. So it is. Go ahead.
+233
+233
50 722 6703
6703.
And my UK number for WhatsApp is +44 7868
7868
339 004. And the website, should they want to look, is www. The Darker Group, THE, Tango Hotel Echo, Darker, Delta Alpha Romeo Charlie Alpha.
Just do it. Tell us what the acronym is for.
The Diaspora Association for the Regeneration of the Caribbean and Africa, Darker, DARCA. Okay,
DARCA, Diaspora Association. Is that F in there as well? For?
No, just DARCA.
DARCA. So the address is www.thedarkagroup.com. Okay, so it's www.thedarkagroup.com. DARCA. Okay, we've got that. And I've got the telephone numbers as well. So, you know, and we'll have it in the recording when I post that online. And you can get in touch with us via the Big G Galaxyafiwe as well for that information. And another question is, where are you in Ghana? What area are you in?
Right now, in the area called Dodua, just past Dodua. I'm in a place called Amanthro. I've been obviously back to Cape Coast. Naturally, I went back to the castle and could done what was necessary there to break that chain. Obviously, I've been around meeting many artists who I've put on a forum whom we're hoping possibly to try and hold an event for a man who died here. He was a brother who came from the UK and US. He done really well. He was brought back here and unfortunately fell to certain evil forces, and he died alone just recently, and he's been really mourned. But it coincides with the memorial of my uncle who was murdered in Greenford in 2009. So we're seeing if we can hold an event there and maybe pull some of these artists, these young artists who are so talented. You know, they even got performing. They got me performing too. And we're better to get your musical prowess and get out there than Africa. So it was wonderful getting back again, you know. It was wonderful being amongst brothers who encourage you to get your musical. There's no competition. Everybody takes their verse. Everybody takes their turn. One's banging the drum, one's playing the guitar, one's humming, one's doing harmony. And it's beautiful.
The line cuts in and out a little. Did I hear you say they had you singing as well?
Yeah, I performed. And
you're a performer as well. Nice one.
Aren't we all, you know?
Come to think of it, I have heard you singing, yes, on Galaxy on your shows, yes.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's not about me as such. What I'm saying is that you don't discover Africa. Africa discovers you. Because Mama Africa has been here from the beginning of time, and it's going to be here after our physical transition. So really all we do is align ourselves with what Mama Africa wants. It's going to happen anyway. It's just whether we are going to fit in.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely agree with you. So, family, Brother Kwame, do you have any further questions to ask? And then if I can ask you to open the line so that others can get in. I'm not sure if it's your line that's causing the interference as well. So, Brother Kwame, let me ask you to come back before you go. Brother Kwame? Oh, maybe Brother Kwame's not on the line, so it could be, you're still on the line. Brother Kwame!
Well, I'm here.
No, come on. Can you just maybe put a final couple of points to our brother Jamenyah, and then if I can ask you to come off the line. I'm not sure if it's your line that's interfering or if it's the Ghana line, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, what Jamenyah's outline is that there are massive opportunities. And in Ghana, and the pineapple business is just one microcosm of the many opportunities that are in Ghana. So we have to seize the bull by the horns and help our brothers and sisters and help ourselves by investing, and we all reap the benefits because it's all about nation building. Give thanks.
Wonderful. It is indeed. It's all about nation building and us building our nation for ourselves. Thank you so much, Brother Kwame. The line's now open. Brother Kwame has kindly opened the lines so that anyone else who wants to call in and ask our Brother Jamenyah a question can do so. Go ahead, Brother Jamenyah.
And also, as well as, I must say that I have been passed on information about, obviously, mineral excavation and deposit, and it's something which is happening right here between us over in Tanzania and also between right back to London. So there is bigger things here, but everything is stages. Start off with the small and let you see that it works, and then after I will work on the other ones, get them established and do it myself, and then I will feedback, and then each time we can expand. And it's not just me, because I will share the information when I get back, obviously with Galaxy, so that we have more of a management scope, more of a scope, and we've got the team on the ground developing. You really do have the team on the ground developing.
Big things ahead. Sounds absolutely fantastic. So, family, if you want to call in, if you want to put any questions to our brother Jamenyah, the line is now open and you can give us a call and do so. The number that you need to ring in on is 0207 193 0174. That's yes.
What about a little music?
What music? Which music? Is there one in particular?
What are you thinking?
Sorry?
Tracy Chapman talking about a revolution.
Tracy Chapman. Okay, let me search for that. And you continue just telling us a bit more about maybe one of the other opportunities that you might want to mention, okay?
Okay, so what we have here is also a need for a community borehole. But when we say community borehole, don't think it's some little pipe out of a floor. No, this borehole is supplying a whole area. Now, it's been out of water for nearly 3 years, and they've just managed to get one up. But they need more. Now, I've sent a video into the Galaxy app, and I've also put it up on my forums. However, this is also one of the investments which are called benevolent investments, where you invest your money and you
I never played a day of organized football in my life.
Sorry about that. I've just gone into YouTube and an advert come on. Sorry about that. Continue about the borehole, my brother.
So the borehole is needed. You see, sometimes we have this picture in Africa that they've painted that there's no water here and that the people are starving. Yes, in some respects rainfall is low, but we have to remember that water is not necessarily from above, it's from beneath. So if you go down, you have water. Do you know how many houses here have their own boreholes? Then the pipes coming in from outside, they dig underneath the ground, and after 6 foot to 2 meters, they have their own water supply.
Yep.
That's normal. Africa has water under the ground. So in the northern region, because it's more agriculture, it's even more countrified, they really need more water there. And they're asking for us to come and do investments. Now, I have linked with a very large engineering company, one person in particular, a very reputable person. Took me to meet his, not fraternity, but his classmate school, and it was an honor to be amongst them because you don't get brought into those environments. And they were showing what can be done and what the money is. It's all honest. I mean, our brothers over here are not hustling. Life's a hustle. But these are real businesses, real things taking place. Now that's the borehole. Plus we've got the coconut connection.
So how much would we need? How much would we need to raise to do a borehole for them?
The first time I got a price was $7,000.
Is that
that's
US?
The first time, but I'm going to get $7,000. That's borehole, that's pipe work, that's everything. Now I'm working on the ground here, and I'm going to see if we can get that better than that.
Yeah, man, we can get the community digging, can't we? Community spirit.
Yeah, exactly. I can do the pump, I can do all the pipe work, I can do all the design calculations, I can do all of that. No problem.
Yeah. So these things, if we can get them done as a collective, because we're talking about charity here, yeah? We're talking about doing a borehole for them. And, sorry?
We could claim back. If we do it as charitable works, we could claim back on the government over here. We can offset it and then get tax relief on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, back in the days, the community spirit that was there, we've got to bring back a bit of that spirit as well, where we're prepared to, do the works on behalf of the community, not necessarily for, large sums of money, but in terms of the benefits, like you're saying, the benefits of the borehole. So if all the farmers get together and do a borehole for farmer A, then they all get together and do a borehole for farmer B and for farmer C, say, and we provide all the materials that they need in order to get the pumps and the solar panel that they need to generate the energy to activate the pumps or what have you. So we can maybe look at ways that we could do it a bit more inexpensively, but definitely always looking to see how we can support,
Definitely. I will get further on to that in regards to pricing, better pricing. That's why I'm saying it's something which is there, but the pineapple is something I can definitely promote.
Yeah.
The borehole is something I'm looking into, and there are others. But on the sum of solutions, if possible, what I could do is if you could allow me 5 or 10 minutes, I could try and do a conference call so that you could speak to the pineapple farmer, the brother who oversees Raphael, who oversees the water, and Montia, who has the business idea for concept of coconut recycling and provision.
Oh,
and maybe
coconut recycling. Yeah, because I've heard, Ghana, I think, grows the most coconuts of the whole of the western coast there.
Yeah, you have to drink coconut water out here. I tell you, when you drink that, it gives you a new lease of life. Eat some coconut jelly, and you're ready to walk another 5 miles.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. You know, we have been given, you know, the richest piece of real estate in the world. Africa is just so rich with wealth. She really, really is. And I think it was Amos Wilson that said, you know, it's one thing to be rich with wealth, but if our minds are not rich with wealth, then that wealth is worth nothing at all. And at the moment we're in a situation where others seem to have a mind, you know, to create wealth and are utilizing our wealth to benefit their creations and to create wealth for themselves. So what we need to do is be the creators of wealth for our people, because as Africa rises, we rise. You know, if Africa's looked on as a poverty-stricken nation, we're looked on as hopeless, helpless, poverty-stricken people. But if Africa is looked on, you know, for her wealth, for her economic entrepreneurialism, for her business acumen, the professionalism, and for the business that she's doing, you know, and gets the kudos for that, we will all also get that kudos. And so...
Shanice, let me just add here,
yeah.
As much as we're talking about coming and doing great things, you know, for Africa, please don't think that Africa does need us, but don't think that Africa is lacking. If you get what I'm saying,
that's what I'm talking about. The wealth that's there, we're the ones who are lacking in our mind, in my opinion.
If anything, we're actually asking. You know, I know we have the right to come back, but in some respects, you're kind of saying, look, can we come and get involved, please? That's really the attitude that you need to come with, because they're doing it. Mm-hmm. So you have to come with the right attitude. Actually, you know what, we do have stuff to offer, but damn, you are actually doing it yourself. So yes. Would it be okay if we probably come back in the family? If you've been a long time away, we want to come back and we want to be with the family, please. What do we need to do? How do we need to go about things? What's the cultures and customs so that we don't fall foul? Mm-hmm. You know, where do we need to go and speak to the older men? Mm-hmm. How do we do things properly? Make sure that everything is, you know, it's not just business lifestyle. It's about
relationship building and being part of the family. Yes, this is what we're saying. You know, the others, they come to take. We're not coming to take, we're coming to give. You know, but you're right, we have to make sure that what we want to offer, you know, is what they want to accept from us as well. Yeah, we're not about imposing ourselves on anybody or anything like that.
Can't come in with bad attitude, and even though yes, we have a right to be here, and they may have played their part, and there is a time and a place for that. But in your general day-to-day life, you can't go around with the angry feel towards everybody, because it just won't make sense. Mm-hmm. It needs to be systematic. You know, discourses that we can come in the evening and watch documentaries where we can sit and discuss books on Amos Wilson, Dr. John Henry Clark, where we can introduce. Not to say that the younger ones, the uni students, don't know. The uni students know. The uni students are clued. They're ready. Mm-hmm. They're ready. And the people in the ghetto are always ready, because they're always, until you make them happy, they're always ready. So the people are ready. Our people are ready.
Right. Wonderful. Good to hear that, my brother. So, you know, what we're hearing is that there is a generation coming up, you know, that have a greater level of consciousness maybe than we're aware of, which is a good thing, you know, and are ready for the change that we want to see. So, you know, tell us more about what the changes that they want. You know, what do they see as their needs? What do they want from us, if anything at all? I'm just adding an unknown number as well. Go ahead, my brother Jamenyah.
What it is Nkrumah. Everywhere you go, Nkrumah is the person who keeps coming up. And even though he was taken out and mistreated by, actually, the father of the current president was the one who got Nkrumah out. Yeah, the current father was one of those who were involved in the coup.
Wow. I didn't know that. I mean, others may have been aware of that, but to be honest, I wasn't aware of that. I don't think I've heard it mentioned here on the Big G before. Thanks for bringing that enlightenment, my brother. I was just trying to add an unknown caller, but sorry, caller, I wasn't able to add you. Please try again. Right, so they are very much for, you know, the vision that Kwame Nkrumah expounded before he left. That vision, lives on. Yeah, his aspirations for the country lives on. That's good.
I went and paid my rights of respect around Kwame Nkrumah's grave. I walked around the grave 9 times. I played his excerpt speech while walking around, and I asked him to invoke the spirit that we might be able to play our part in manifesting the vision. That's no joke. I mean, so it's all about us playing our part in manifesting the vision, and our people are ready. It's not just Ghana. Rise up to Niger as well. Niger is, listen, what did I look up? There's 66 million people in England. There are 190 million in Lagos alone. In Nigeria, 190 million in Nigeria. England has 60 million. Could you understand?
I completely understand. That's why, my brother, I would suggest that we focus on the intra-Africa market, the African market. Let them continue to supply their people, over here. We've got to be providing for our people. This is, they're the ones who have come up with this whole export thing, because for them it's about, exporting our goods out of our country to here where they are, to their supermarkets to feed, their people. If you walk around their supermarkets, they've got nothing that they grow, hardly anything that they grow here. Almost everything they're getting from, outside of the UK, and they've got us all buying into this export, like we've got to export to them in order to survive. We've got our own people that we need to be doing business with and exporting goods to. So, let's look at our own internal markets.
Let's make that as a standard now. I'm willing to stand by that, that I'm going to concentrate on intra-African trade, not international. I said, I'm going to concentrate on making sure that before we even step outside, I'm going to concentrate on intra. In regards to the UK.
And today it's pineapple. Tomorrow, it could be something else, another produce that, we greatly need to be growing so we can contribute towards food sustainability, in Africa. Now, there's a caller trying to get in on an unknown number, but unfortunately I'm unable to add them while you're on the line. We're 27 minutes now past the hour of 11. And got my second guest lining up for 11:30. So, my brother Jamenyah, are you able to listen offline so that I can bring the guest in and so you can quickly come back and respond?
So definitely do, Charles. I'll be listening in anyway, okay?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It's been absolutely amazing speaking with you, Brother Jamenyah. And caller that was trying to call in, if you call in now, okay, I will accept your call, and Brother Jamenyah will be listening as well, and he'll be able to call back in at an appropriate time in the show. If not straight away, then maybe a bit later on, okay? So, obviously we've only just managed to get a little snapshot from our Brother Jamenyah of what he has been experiencing and what he has, to share with us from his visit to the Gambia. And this is the excitement. This is what Africa's about. Those of you who were listening last strong, to our sister Taiwo, I mean, she had a similar, moving experience when she went to Nigeria, so much so that she set up her own business there, and she's now helping to facilitate, the diaspora that want to go back to Nigeria to set up business or to buy land or to buy homes over there. Absolutely amazing. And, Sister Juliet, of Blacksea had a similar, ground moving experience when she touched the mama land in the Gambia, so much so that, she bought land there, she's built her house there, and she's also facilitating people who want to buy land in the Gambia, who want to build home in the Gambia, etc. Absolutely awesome. And then we've got our brother Twin. He's also going to be at Summit of Solution. He had a similar ground moving experience when he visited Tanzania. And I think his proposal is very similar. It's another pineapple farming business that he wants to tell us about as well in Tanzania. And so we're looking forward to that presentation from him at Summit of Solutions as well. And, we financed the goat farming project in Zimbabwe. We financed the landmine victims to do some goats. And I've got a report back from them on the progress of that. And they're doing so well. Some people said to me, ask them if they would do a commercial goat farming project for us, and they have sent us through a proposal, so I'll be sharing that with the family as well. So there are many opportunities, and also we've got another sister, Sister Yah, who's working out of America and has got 5,000 acres of free land in Ghana. I'll have to find out how close it is actually to where Brother Jamenyah is. She's got 5,000 acres of free land that has been given to her by a chief in Ghana, and numerous Americans have already bought their plots. We can buy plots there as well. It costs us $700 to get all of the paperwork done, and after that the land is ours and we can start building, and we'll be nation building. We'll be building as a community, so it won't be about just building properties. It'll be about building a school, building community facilities, building supermarkets, etc. So she's working with a chief in Ghana on that. So we are talking about nation building, and wow, I know that is precisely what our brother leader Bandaka is about as well. So the caller that was trying to call in hasn't actually called in, so has just called in as I was about to move on. I just tried to accept the call, but I think they must have just hanged up. So caller that was trying to call in, I wonder if you can please hold the line now. No more calls just yet, because what I'd like to do is introduce our next guest that we've got, and then, when we open the lines a bit later on, we can have more discussions about nation building in various countries in Africa, and we can also talk about, Summit of Solutions, or what it is you may want to speak of. Okay, family? So rise up. So rise up, Brother Jamenyah. Thank you so much, my brother, for sharing with us that pineapple business opportunity and how we can contribute towards the nation building of Ghana through the pineapple farming sector. Absolutely fantastic. Rise yourself up. And also for telling us about, the boreholes that they need over there as well, and what we can do to help and support them to, get some boreholes off the ground. Okay, so it is now 11:31, and I know our brother leader Bandaka is going to be calling in very soon. He's also going to be at Summit of Solutions. Yes, indeed. And actually, before I go over, I did find the track that our brother Jamenyah was asking me to find by Tracy Chapman. So let me just bring that in, and then we'll line up our brother Leader Bandaka to come and talk to the Galaxy family. Okay, so let's, and it says, talking about a revolution. Let's hope there isn't an advert that comes in first. Oh, yes, there is an advert. Sorry, family. Let me just let that advert pass, and then I will be able to bring in Tracy Chapman. Okay, here we go. Talking about a revolution.
Talking about a revolution.
This is for you, Jamenyah, and the Galaxy family. Actually, we've got Brother Jamenyah on the line. You might want to hold, because he might, have something to say that you might want to respond to as well. Brother Jamenyah, okay. Welcome back, my brother.
Bless, thanks for having me back. And I also wanted to introduce one of my business partners here from Nigeria. But just to rise up our sister there, what was her name, please?
Sister Sesame from Botswana. Sesame, sorry. Sister Sesame.
Not a problem. Yeah.
It's lovely to hear your voice, Sister Sesame. It's not the first time I've heard you, but Botswana, ironically, is somewhere of real note, because when I came to Ghana in 2018, because I found out about how challenging it was to go officially through the business that I wanted to, which is engineering and training, including online training. Mm-hmm. I moved into the pineapple side to diversify until we can establish that, but Botswana I done a lot of research on Botswana, and Botswana is a very, very favourable country in regards to integration into Africa. Its requirements for setting up business are a lot easier than Ghana, the requirements are a lot cheaper than Ghana, and they are very well organised over there, it has to be said. So Botswana is somewhere that was really on my radar, but because I'd come to Ghana, I didn't want to jump to another country without seeing it through here. Especially as I had established, I feel like it's important for me to see things through. So I'd come back to Ghana because I really was planning to go to Botswana, and it still is. So what my sister says to me is saying it's very true. Botswana is a very, very favourable place to consider.
My brother, don't write it out as yet. Don't write out Botswana, because, we're the pioneers. We're establishing satellite models of good practice. And, when you do that, when you're establishing models of good practice and, and setting up, infrastructure initiatives, this can be done in many places. It can be done in Botswana, in Ghana, in Gambia, in Tanzania, and we may just have to start trailblazing like that and setting up these good models of good practices and leaving it in capable, trustworthy hands to develop and to build. And as we go around, we come back round again, or there's a team of us, to spread ourselves, in the different countries to do what needs to be done. But, having Galaxy as the glue, the mothership, that kind of, gels it all together, so...
That's where we're talking about it now. If it wasn't for Galaxy, we wouldn't be talking about such things. Don't get me wrong, there are other stations as well. There's a Nigerian station which is similar in ethos or on the same ether as Galaxy. We want to partner with all of our families so that we have greater global scope.
Yeah.
But I'd like to introduce a partner. If that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Good afternoon.
Greetings. Please introduce yourself. What's your name?
Yes, I'm Sandra.
Sister
Sandra.
Sister Sandra, welcome to Galaxyafiwe.
I'm from Nigeria, and then I heard about Melon on the phone this morning on the radio. It was sounding so nice, and I tell you, in Africa you can get more and more and more things. I overheard a sister talking this morning about the voodoo things and other stuff, and she's just saying the right thing.
Right.
Really, we really need to know.
That's great. That's absolutely fantastic, Sandra. Please share, what we've been discussing with brothers and sisters in Nigeria. Awesome. Yeah, and I will make the recording of this show available online. So, if you wanted to go back to it, if you wanted to share what we've been talking about with brothers and sisters in Nigeria or in Ghana, you can access it online at on SoundCloud. So you just search for Sis Shanice, that's S-I-S Shanice, S-H-A-N-I-C-E, on SoundCloud, and within a couple of days I'll make sure that this program is uploaded so that you can go over any aspect of the show that you might want to do so. You might want to.
I would like to in English, and I would like to do so with Nigerian Pidgin English, and I would like to do so in my language, so at least the people can understand me more better.
Yes. Fantastic. Yes, it would be awesome you interpreting what we're saying in one of the African languages.
Why not? Yes, why not? I can always translate in Nigerian language, Nigerian Pidgin English, which can be used in Ghana as well. It's the common one in Africa though. Then I can still speak it in my local language.
Wow, that's wonderful. Brother Jamenyah, make sure you take Sister Sandra's contact details if you haven't already done so. We need to get some of our shows translated. Yes, my sis.
And what about the partner station? What about the Nigerian station?
Yeah, and then I would like to put in a partner station, the Wazobia FM, which we've not really talked much, but I would like to do that, really. They speak more of Nigerian Pidgin English, which is... Yeah, which every Nigerian can understand, every Ghanaian can understand.
Right.
Most part of the English country in Africa can understand the Nigerian Pidgin English, which is more common. I think I would like to put in that as well. So when I go back to Nigeria, I would like to go talk to them and then we'll see.
Yes,
and we can already put them through.
And let's look at how we can make the links. Definitely, Brother Jamenyah, definitely, pursue those discussions. Let's look at how we could be making the links with that brother or sister radio station in Nigeria, and how we could be translating some of the discussions that we're having here into a Nigerian language and Pidgin English, so a wider audience can understand what we're talking about. That would be wonderful.
I obviously have that link here, but what I may do is just pass you each other's numbers as sister to sister, then you can speak.
Yeah, man, that's safe as. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay then. One love. I'm going to hang up and listen in for a bit more though. But Africa spirituality is the way. That's the way of our ancestors and the way of our people. The Chinese, they worship their ancestors and their gods. The Indians, they worship their ancestors, their god. If you drive down Westminster, the Europeans worship their ancestors and their gods.
Yes, and we taught them how to do that. And they've retained that knowledge, unlike us. Thank you so much, my brother. Keep up the great work. So we talk to you some more on Sunday at Summit of Solutions. Look forward to seeing the pictures and the images of the pineapple farm and to hearing also from the pineapple farmers and business partners. One love. One love. Sister Sandra, I look forward to speaking with you some more as well. Rise up, Sister Sandra. And Sister Sisami, thank you so much for your interaction as well. Okay, we've got 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Caller 968, the line is now free. Caller 997, the lines are now free. I was trying to add you during the conversation. Some callers I can add and some I can't. So, if you're not being added, it's not that I'm ignoring you. Please do call back again. Okay, so Sister Shanice here in the house. You are in tune to www.galaxyafiwe, the only de-brainwashing station. We've been having a really interesting discussion and conversation here today with our brother Jamenyah, who has called in all the way from Ghana to tell us about nation building opportunities there that we can plug into. We've also been hearing from our brother Leader Bandaka, who called in to tell us about the importance of spirituality and how we can, come together for Jamenyah on the first Sunday of every month at the Chestnut Community Centre here. And we've had some wonderful calls as well from Botswana, from Ghana, Nigeria, here in the UK. And we've got caller 968 on the line as well. Let's go over to the lines and find out who we have. Greetings, caller 968. Who do we have on the line?
My sister.
Greetings. Is that Brother Jeff?
No, it's a silent listener.
Silent listener, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm not going to be long at all. I just really want to plead with you, my sister, please put the show up on YouTube, on Sister Shanice's channel, because it was so easy for me to get to it. I was struggling with the other one. But on the Sister Shanice channel, bang, YouTube, it was there.
Oh, okay. It's just that the other one's so much easier, because when I do YouTube, I have to convert it to a video. So I have to find all these images, and then my computer system's so slow, it takes like 2 days to upload, and it's just crazy.
But it's so helpful for me, because I sent some of your information over on YouTube through WhatsApp. It was like, so easy, bang, it was out there in Africa. So if you can please try.
Okay.
It was amazing today, excellent. I can't even add anything to it.
Wow.
So that's my only request. If you can please make it available to our team, who are the YouTubers.
Okay, silent listener.
Okay.
It takes a bit longer, because it takes a couple of days, to do the conversions, to do the editing and the uploads. But I'll get it done because you've called in to request it. Thank you
very much.
And thank you for being a YouTube listener. Please. One love. So that was our silent caller, our silent listener who's broke the silence to us. I put it up on YouTube, so of course I've got to do that after this call. Will do. Rise up, Brother Akram.
Yeah, rise up, my sister, and rise up to our sister in Botswana. Doing a great job down there.
Sister Sisami, and I apologize, I was calling her name wrong before. Sister Sisami from Botswana. Yes, and we have Brother Jamenyah on the line, and and Sister Sandra from Nigeria. Oh, it's been an exciting international show today. Brother Akram, we're also looking forward to seeing you on Sunday and hearing from you as well about how we can come together as cooperatives now to actually pursue some of these initiatives that we want to pursue in Africa. So over to you, Brother Akram.
Yeah, and as I say, also, rise up to Brother Jamenyah. I mean, as I said, so much opportunities within Africa. Yeah, I'm sorry I come in so late, but yeah, just briefly, I'll be discussing a little bit about the cooperative, but also my presentation, which I will send out to you, is my thing is about the hotels. And like Brother Jamenyah was pointing out, it's us investing in ourselves, preparing our pensions and whatever like that, because we're putting money into these people's things and expect to wait all 30 years to get something back, when we could be investing in our own things, and maybe after 5-10 years we're then collecting and and much stronger towards our pension.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, I want to bring up the hotel project, which I will be presenting at the meeting, as a way of doing that, a way of investment.
Brilliant.
Because
we know only too well that Africa is a very popular tourism destination, and most of the hotels and the guest houses are not owned by us. It's not owned by Africans. They're owned by Americans, Europeans, Chinese, Indians, the Lebanese. They all own these hotel complexes up and down the Caribbean and also Africa, and we need to own our own as well. Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell you, when I went to South Africa just over 10 years ago, and the hotel that I booked with was from where? Nepalese, all the way up in those highlands, and he's gone down to Africa and find a way of setting up a hotel there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, we are rising as a people, and we're rising to the opportunities that are out there, and it all starts with us having that conversation, doesn't it? So certainly looking forward to us having the conversation on Sunday. Hold it there, please, Brother Akram. Let me just bring in Brother Ade, who I've finally managed to add. Greetings, Brother Ade.
Are you doing, Sista Shanice? You good?
Yes, I am good, my brother. Thank you so much for your persistence. I was trying to add you the whole time.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with what you say. They say all the hotels are owned by foreigners. No. Because I know people who own hotels.
I stand corrected. Not all, as too many then. How about that?
Yeah, well, you could put it like that, because that's like...
Let me put it like that then.
That's this generalization, because it's a new development going on in Lagos at the moment under the umbrella of Eco-Atlantic. Most of the money is our money. Most of it is donated. It's from our sources. And most of the richest people in so-called Nigeria invested money there. Even myself was invested money there. It's a project that's going to take, going to take 20 years, place by place. And a lot of it is our money, Although we do welcome international investors as well. But it's very limited, the investment. We must have up to 70% of control of it, people like somebody like Bill Clinton, the former president of America, he's got investment there, but his investment is very limited, Sista Shanice,
Thank you for the enlightenment, my brother, and I stand corrected for generalizing there. You're right. From my European mindset, I can, get the impression that, it's mainly the foreigners that are down there that are building the hotels, etc., etc. But it's not. We're out there doing our bit as well. Our people on the ground are doing an incredible job, and yes, got to recognize that as well.
Another thing I want to add quickly is that people should stay away from Italy, stay away from northern Italy,
Okay.
Because everybody's cancelling flight there, Everybody's cancelling flight.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Brother Ade, you might know if you tap into their media. Why is everybody grabbing up toilet paper like it's going out of fashion? What's all that about?
Exactly. It's not going to cure the parasite that's affecting the Wazungu, especially. It's not going to. I mean, look.
Why are they grabbing up all that toilet paper? What's in their head? Something's been written somewhere. Something's been said somewhere about toilet paper. I don't know what it is, but people are. I've seen all these videos of people grabbing up toilet paper, fighting over toilet paper like it's going out of fashion. Why?
Exactly. I find it difficult to answer myself.
You don't know. If someone knows, I know it's a ridiculous question, but I don't really tune into the mainstream media, so I don't know what they've been saying to people why they turn themselves stupid over toilet paper. But if you know, please give me a call and let me know.
Sister Shanice, the Italian man that's a businessman that brought it to Lagos, and the authority quickly quarantined him.
All right.
They isolated, and they're pretty good at that.
Yes, they did it with Ebola as well. They clamped down on it quick as well. They took control, and we've got to be that efficient in all of our African countries. We've got to have, the professionals in place, and the medical institutions, and the research laboratories, and personnel, biologists and virologists in place in all of the African countries, so that we're the ones who are in control, of quarantining, testing, etc., etc.
They're isolated from our people, Sister Shanice. They are isolated for us. I mean, we Africans, we could be, although it's not as rife in our continent, not at the moment, and I hope it's not. Generally, I'm concerned of the welfare of human beings around the world, but the fact is, I mean, we could be immune to it. Our system could be immune to it. And if your system is not strong enough, it kills you. As simple as that. And they're not even telling us the truth, what is causing the symptom. All they're telling us is that it's going to take a year. By the time a year comes, people will have passed away from me. It's madness, Yes. Absolutely madness,
Yes, it certainly is. Yes, my brother. So, yes, I can hear you fine. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, good. And it's just so important that we do take control and responsibility for our own health. We were talking about the connection of, our spirituality and it being at one with nature, and how we were therefore at one time at one with nature, and at that time, how we had optimum health. And so, a lot of us have because we've abandoned our spiritual ways and we've abandoned our culture, we've also abandoned, how we used to take care of our own health. And because of the indoctrination, there are many of us who think, not all of us, many of us who believe that, others who don't look like us, don't like us, have the answers for all of our health problems. And so look to them for their health guidance and advice. I'm really glad that Nigeria has taken control of the situation themselves. And there's a really interesting story that I heard about via Dr. Mumbi's show, actually. And it's the case of these 13 Canadians who were arrested in Ethiopia for improperly practicing medicine. Can you believe it? Them find themselves go to Ethiopia, 13 Canadians find themselves go to Ethiopia, claiming to be, members of some humanitarian health thing, and were giving Ethiopian people out-of-date medication and also practicing some improper kind of medical, practices in one of the provinces out there, way up in the mountains and the hills in Ethiopia. So, we've got to stop relying on people who don't look like us to be coming into our countries and so-called taking care of us medically. Yeah, and then well done now, a few years after them gone, you see everybody in the area blind, or everybody in the area deaf, or everybody in the area have AIDS, or everybody in the area, and our people don't understand why, and they forget to make the connection. Yeah, we need to stop looking to these people like they're our saviors. Yeah, and that they're the ones who can look after our health.
You're right, Sister Shanice. It's all about mindset. Thinking a man that's nailed to a cross, who looks white, blonde hair, blood pouring from his arm and then in his palm.
Can save us. As one of our greats said, why should he look beyond his own, and save us over and above his own who look like him? That not going to happen. He's going to save his own people first. And maybe that's why they're doing better than we are. So those of us who are still, practicing that religion, we really need to, think again. Brother Kwame, I'm trying to add you, but can't add Brother Kwame at the moment. Oh, yes, I've just added Brother Kwame, so I've just added him.
Let me speak. Let me hear what he's got to say. How you doing, Kwame?
Medasi, Brother Kwame, Brother Ade, I greet you.
Yeah, greetings. So, you mentioned about this nonsense called coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
Listen, but it is a genetic manufactured disease aimed at Asian people. Black people will not get it. Because...
Of course.
Sorry?
Yeah, you're right. You carry on because
because basically, this coronavirus, right? And I have a painting for it, right? Was actually invented by a Chinese medic, right?
Yeah, and he died. Yes, the man that died.
Yeah. Right, I think it's called Huang Kim or something like that. That's the name of a Chinese guy.
So was he one of the ones whose name was on the patent? Because I looked up the patent, and there were a number of researchers. Right.
Yeah. But basically, there've been 19 different types of coronaviruses that has been invented.
Yeah,
before,
and they're just strains of the common flu as well. Yeah. They're just strains of the flu. Yeah. So, but they're obviously hyping this up, with their own hidden agenda. So there's a duality of things here. On the one side, they're killing off and totally damaging the Asian stock exchange and economy, aren't they? Because it's having a serious impact on their economy. And the other flip side is that they're killing off some of them in the process, and more killings are going to come from the ejections that they're going to be rolling out. Brother Kwame, though, do you know why everybody's gone mad over toilet paper all of a sudden?
Yes, because basically, if you tell a big enough lie and you keep dragging it for long enough, the people will believe it. Yeah. The number one casualty of war is the truth.
Yeah.
Right, and this is what's happening. So basically, the propaganda of their white terror system is the media.
Yeah.
So propaganda is false that people need to, blow their nose, wash their hands, get sanitizers. Do you know these sanitizers are alcohol based, and the chemicals can damage the fiber of the hands?
Yes. And it would make people more susceptible to the disease if they were to come into contact with it, because they've completely removed the layer on their hands, that would normally protect and deal with any fungus or disease or anything.
And more people as a result of taking hand sanitizers are going to get coronavirus because this hand sanitizer has actually damaged the immune system. And this is what I'm saying is right. We would not get coronavirus only if you come into contact with Europeans and Asians. And this is what I'm saying to people: stop your contacting with them, because contact with Europeans and Asians, because this is a recessive genetic virus that has been tampered with. Yeah. So because of dominant genes, like I said yesterday, right? We've got dominant genes, so the virus cannot seep into a dominant gene because it was not specified for a dominant gene type. This virus was made specifically for a Asia-Euro recessive gene type. That attacks our immune system. Our immune system is different from their immune system, yeah? So what we tell people, right? Don't be scared. Just build your immune system. Take your herbs, take your ginger, take your echinacea, take your St. John's wort, take your red clover, take your turmeric. Those things will protect you from any, so-called strain of the virus. But like I said, it will not get us unless you associate yourselves with Europeans and Asian people.
And because, Brother Kwame, you're right, because when we raise that sweat a lot, you tend to sweat parasites out of your system. Yes, you will sweat it out of your system. Because, I mean, as he mentioned, another thing for our people who eat Chinese food, stop going to their shop. Hopefully this is a warning to you. Don't eat Chinese food, because after all,
I'm surprised that anyone still goes into those Chinese restaurants or eat Chinese food after all these videos. And the sad reality is, I was passing through Rye Lane Peckham just yesterday, and they've opened these new indoor shopping malls, and they've got a couple of Chinese takeaway type places in these shopping malls, and I saw our people buying food from them, some of our young people as well. I'm thinking, are their parents just not talking to them? Or do they just not know what's going on? How can we be trusting these people and eating food from them?
You see, Sister Shanice, what I don't understand, at the end of the day, if you turn the table around, they don't even eat our food. They don't eat our food.
That's true.
We seem to
they eat their food, and their food, not only is it, should we not be thinking of eating their food because of coronavirus, but their food does absolutely nothing for our melanated bodies anyway. We need to be eating the yam and the chocha and the banana and the ackee and the food we grow in at the ground or that we pick off of the tree. We're a different species from them.
And that's it. And when you eat, and this is another thing, my sister, if you eat alkaline-based food, right, like a lot of greens, a lot of legumes, a lot of pulses, right, that is alkaline in its nature, right? So a lot of these viruses, right, are acidic in their nature, but they're made of acidic type kind of chemicals. That's attack the immune system. So if you, again, or a black person, right, but if you eat acidic food, you probably can contact the virus because your system is not an alkaline based system. Our body, as particularly black people, right, feed on alkaline, not acid, alkaline.
And also, just to say, it's important to have that balance as well, isn't it? Because the ideal is that pH balance. So not too acidic and not too alkaline either. Yeah, but the more the alkaline, the more you actually building defenses. Because if for example, the pH 7, that's the level that that's the balance.
Yeah, anything with a pH 7, right? But if it's below pH 7, then you've got problems. You've got problems. So anything you eat has to have at least a pH value of 7 plus, in more than less than pH 7. Yeah.
You're right.
So you're right. By having that balance, right, or by having a more alkaline diet as opposed to acidic diet, you're actually building up your black body, and you're feeding the parasites, which actually help the melanin cells grow and develop and regenerate itself.
Yeah, the key is not to have a too acidic diet. It's not to have a diet that's purely acidic. Not at all. And to get the balance and the alkaline balance, the alkaline diet will help, us to get that balanced diet, because obviously, the acidity does have a role to play in our body, but the problem is if, the diet is too acidic. So absolutely right on that. We've got to be mindful of, what all of the alkaline foods are that we ought to be eating. The avocados, the pumpkins, all the food that basically the rule is if it grow under the ground, like the yam and the chocho and the sweet potato and all them thing there, we should be eating it.
And what Brother Kwame is saying there, you thought where West Africa is, what Africa in general, with the exception of South Africa, which got, cold climate. It can't survive, virus like that, Sister Shanice. It would never survive in equatorial West Africa.
Yeah, that particular strain won't, but let's not get too complacent, though, because, we just have to read the case of Dr. Death to know about, the biological chemicals and that they've also got to try and target our genes as well. We know that we're survivors, but we have to be aware of the damage that AIDS and Ebola has already done to the continent. It's taken the lives of, not tens of thousands, but millions, up to 30 million Africans.
No, but that's the point I'm making, sister, because AIDS and Ebola was specifically targeted, right. at dominant people.
That's because we're talking the same language, my brother. I'm just saying that's why we can't be complacent and feel that they're not going to be coming, with a disease that's targeted at us. We just have to remind ourselves of AIDS, Ebola, Zika. These diseases were targeted, at our people and have been causing a huge, number of deaths on the continent and in America in particular as well. Yes, Brother Ade, come in, man.
The doctor who actually warned them, he actually 5 months ago, because this thing has been in the air, it's been amongst the European community for the last 5 months, and people don't have life in Italy. He warned them. He actually died of it. The same doctor Brother Kwame is alluding to, with one of the doctors. Yeah, he was only a young doctor, and he died. Yeah, and they tried to cover it up.
I'm suspicious about his death anyway, but I hear you, because it is a strain of the flu, and it's going to affect the most vulnerable first, the elderly and the young, and those with a weak immune system. So a doctor, although he's in the forefront, and if he's the same doctor who was on the video speaking up and speaking out when he shouldn't have been, I'm very suspicious about his death. But anyway, that's one that will probably unfold. That will unfold in time in the future.
If any government are listening in Africa, please don't let people in with that intention.
Keep out the Asians right now. Keep out the Chinese. Keep out the Asians. Keep out the Europeans. And we'll stand a higher chance of not bringing the virus into the country. Because, it could come in and mutate into something else. Who knows? We don't want it in the water. We don't want it anywhere.
You see, the And the problem, a lot of people are carrying in this country, Sister Shanice. People who just come from Hong Kong, expats, people, they're carrying it. And, so we have to be careful.
And this climate will carry it as well. Remember, it's airborne. So this climate will carry it. This particular strain apparently, it doesn't survive well in hot conditions. But
anyway, keep up the good work, Sister Shanice.
Yes, thank you for the interaction, my brother. Rise yourself up, and thank you so much also for the reminder. Not to recognize the great works. Okay. Thank you, Brother Ade. So Brother Ade's gone. So Brother Kwame, you're still with us. We are actually 15 minutes over the hour. We've also got Brother Akram, I think, who's still in the group. Are you there, Brother Akram? Brother Akram? Okay, maybe Brother Akram, it appears he's in the group, is not actually here either. So let me check. So I've got Brother Kwame, yeah? And Brother Ade has just left, I believe. Why is it showing that they're still there? Anyway, so family, let me get ready to wrap up. But first of all, let me allow Brother Kwame to come in. Brother Kwame, I know that you had someone lined up who was due to call in. I don't know if they're still intending to call in, because if they are, I can wait for their call and we can, continue.
Yeah, they were trying the landline. I gave him a landline.
Okay. Can you ask them to call in now?
And they said they've tried, but they haven't been able to get through.
What number? What was their digits at the end? Do you know? Okay, well, let me clear the line and let me clear the phone so that you can ask them to call in. So we're going to hear from, is it Mohammed?
Yeah, Mohammed, yeah.
Okay, alrighty. And just ask Mohammed to give us a call, and we'll have the lines clear so that he can call in and introduce himself to the Galaxy family. Alrighty?
Yeah.
Alrighty, fantastic. So we've got a caller that's going to be calling in from Ghana. Is he based in Ghana?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we've got a caller that's going to be calling in from Ghana very shortly. So we're going to hold on for that caller, to allow that caller to call in. Please sort that out for us now, Brother Kwame, and we'll make sure the lines is free for that call to come through. Okay. So, thank you. Brother Akram, are you still in the group? No? Okay, let me just safely clear the group then, knowing that I'm not cutting anybody off right now. So, Galaxy family, Sister Shanice here. As you know, the show started at 10 a.m. Today. What a wonderful and very interesting and interactive show it has been. At the top of the show, we heard from our brother Jamenyah, who is in Ghana right now. He's been networking with brothers and sisters on the ground out there. He's also, been following up on some investments that he made in a pineapple business, and it's done so well. He's now introducing that business to the Galaxy family, and he did a presentation about the pineapple opportunity in Ghana right now. And I said, how many acres? I think it was about 100 acres, and it's just grown to 110 acres of land, and it's all growing pineapple at the moment, and there's a huge profit that's in this business sector, and also huge opportunities for us to progress this business into juice making as well. So that's something that we're looking into, and there are many other business opportunities in Ghana as well that he's aware of. And he's going to be sharing more of that information with us along the way. So this is an opportunity for us to, get involved in doing business in Africa. Okay, so it looks as though Mohammed has made the links via our Skype. Now he just needs to give us a call. Let me send him a message and telling him to please call. So that we can hear from our brother, another brother in Ghana. Okay, so this is Camille Mohammed. He's waving to us at the moment on Skype, and I've just sent him a message to call, so let's hope that he can come through very, very soon indeed. And we also heard from our brother Leader Bandaka, who was telling us about the importance of spirituality and how, spirituality is so intertwined really with our culture. Or what our culture ought to be. And he was saying that culture is the glue that holds us together as a people, and spirituality is an important part of that. And what happened to us, during our years of enslavement was that, that spirituality and that knowledge of our spirituality was actually, knocked out of our minds, and in place, we've got this enslaved spiritual culture that most of us, have been educated into and indoctrinated into. And so, we're now Christianized and Islamized Africans instead of the, African spiritual people that we ought to be. But you can listen back, okay? Okay, this is our caller. I think this is Camille calling through now. But if you want to hear the earlier part of the show, if you missed any aspect of the show, then I'm going to be putting it up on YouTube, and it should be there probably by Friday or Saturday the latest. So let's go over to Skype. I think we've got our brother Camille on the line. Greetings, brother Camille. Is that you on the line?
Yeah, hello, how are you doing?
Greetings, my brother. I am doing well. Thank you for giving us a call. And how are you doing?
Yeah, doing good.
Fantastic. And so you're calling us from Ghana, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, right. And our brother Kwame has introduced you to us. But, let me give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, first of all, to the Galaxy listeners. Tell us who you are.
Okay. My name is Kamal Mohammed, and I currently manage a company called CPI Training. We are trying to help skill up the Ghanaian people when we realize that there is a big gap in terms of the skills requirement for the country and what is currently available. So we are trying to bridge that gap. So that's what my company does. I also do a lot of consulting, especially in the oil and gas industry. I have also done quite a lot of work with the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. We've done quite a bit of research trying to provide the research inputs necessary for the country's socio-economic development. So, in short, that's Camel.
Right, fantastic. So the company that you're currently working in that's aimed at bridging the skills gap, what's the name of that company? And tell us a little bit more about that company, please.
CPI Training.
CPI Training, yes. Go ahead.
CPI, Corporate Professional Industrial Training.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we mainly support industrial trades training skills.
Yes.
For the extractive, mining, oil and gas, and the power sectors. Simply because what happened was after the discovery of oil, we realized there was a gap between what some of the companies were requiring for Ghanaians to work in the sector and what the certification requirements for our NVTI, CODVET, and the Ghana Education Technical Training Institution. So we needed to find a way to bridge the gap. And the best way to do that is to address the certification requirements that these companies require when people come to make these applications. So our company tries to provide all the specialized, standardized industrial skills right here in Ghana. And so we have partnership with quite a number of technical institutions, and we then bring in young people who want to work in these industries and provide them the necessary skills and then the certifications that then enable them to apply for these jobs and they get on board.
Okay, so these mining extractive companies, these oil companies and the others that you've mentioned, who are the owners? Are these Ghanaian companies or foreign-owned companies that we're talking about here, out of interest?
Yes, these are mainly multinational companies, but working in Ghana.
Okay.
So, you, for example, in the oil and gas sector, you have quite a number of the big players who are here, but what they realize is that some of the certification requirements for those that they want to work in the industry are not that available in some of our local training institutions. So they sometimes insist on bringing people from outside the country to come and work in these companies. And we try to minimize the importation of people by training people here to meet their skill requirements. So basically trying to minimize these expat workers who would come and do these jobs because they have the skills or they have the certification requirements. And then we train Ghanaians to be able to acquire those skills and then take the jobs and do it, especially for the industrial trades. And industrial trades, I'm talking about trades like welding, mechanical, electrical, electronics. These are the areas that are high in demand in these industries. So we specialize in providing those kinds of training.
Okay, so where are these expats coming from? Which country in the main are they coming from to take these so-called high-skilled jobs that they're not going to be offering to Ghanaians unless they've got the so-called qualification?
Well, the oil and gas is a very multinational industry, and the companies are located all over the world. And usually what happens is that when they conglomerate in a country, they rely on the companies that they've been working with for years to come. So, for example, if you have Exxon work in a country, they would have service providers, and these would be other large multinational companies like Halliburton, Baker Hughes. These companies are very huge. And these companies have workers all over the world. So, and they also have, people who can compete for the jobs that we have. And so from countries like Philippines or Asia, you will find that they have people, and also from some European and the US, and they bring these people who already have been working in the industry for quite some time, and then they bring them on board and they start to do the job right here in Ghana. And when our authorities try to say, why don't you employ the Ghanaians, they would say, we can't, simply because the Ghanaians do not have the certification requirements. And it takes quite some time to train people to enable them to acquire the skills that then help them to get the job. So for quite some time now, since the discovery in 2007, there's been an active effort. We've passed quite a number of legislations, local content laws. I was the president of the Ghana Oil and Gas Service Providers Association, and we really worked with the indigenous oil and gas companies to try and help bring up the skills of their employees, as well as working with the international companies to find out what requirements would help them to employ the people from Ghana. So this is something that we've done, but it's still not optimum at this stage because there's still a lot of experts working in the industry, jobs that could have been done by Ghanaians. So there's still quite a long way to go to get as many Ghanaians as possible working. And there are still other business opportunities in the industry that other people can look at, even though, yes, there's been quite a number of registrations, there's been quite a number of companies that are registered to work in the sector. I think there's still opportunities for people to come on board.
Thank you for giving us a bit of an insight into the challenges facing Ghanaians, really accessing some of these jobs and opportunities in these multinational conglomerate companies in, Ghana in this instance. And it's a story that's not too dissimilar to our experiences here in the UK, actually, Mohammed, because, at one time, when we were being denied jobs here in the UK, and the employers were the Europeans, they were the owners of the companies in the main, they own most of the organisations, the institutions and the companies. They're the ones who head it up. And back in the 80s, I remember the big excuse was why they were not employing us as Africans was that, you don't have the qualifications, you don't have the skills. That's why, we're unable to employ you to do do these jobs. So there was high levels of unemployment amongst us at the time as young diasporans living in the UK, and it got so bad that the young people, being quite militant in their way as we were during those days, rose up and rioted and all the rest of it, and made it so incredibly difficult for those institutions and organizations to function without actually incorporating, blacks and so-called minority into their companies, that, they had to change their policies. And so what started happening was there were initiatives to involved Africans in the workplace, and of course Africans were going to the schools, colleges and universities and were coming out with the same qualifications as their European counterpart, but were not getting the jobs as well. So it went from not having the qualifications to having the qualifications and still not getting the jobs. But then when the doors did open up after the riots, and most of us started working in these institutions, these organizations and for these companies, we found that the vast majority of their people didn't even have the qualifications to do the work. The vast majority of their people were no more skilled than our people were. In fact, a lot of our people, because we had to work so much harder, were more skilled and more qualified than a lot of their workers were. And what was going on in these organizations is that the managers were training up, the supervisors, and the supervisors were training up their workers underneath them. So there was an internal training process that was going on. Most of them needed to be able to do was, just be able to read and write and be able to cooperate and have, workability skills. So it's interesting that I'm hearing, that our people in Africa are being kept out of these jobs supposedly because they don't have the qualifications or the certificate. It's a bit of history repeating itself there, and it sounds like, because you're saying it's still got a long way to go, you're kind of climbing up a slippery slope there as well. But, but nevertheless, obviously the CIP training is trying to address this narrative that's being spewed out that Ghanaians are not qualified enough to have these jobs, which I think is an insult, anyway, because as I said, there could be on the job training. But how is the organisation getting on with the training and with filling positions in these corporate industries, or as you're saying, is it still quite a long way to go?
Well, there are 4 key elements when you want to provide internationally certified trade skills in a country like Ghana or all over the world. And these 4 conditions must be present to enable people to acquire the skills required. Now, you have to have training institutions that have the right equipment. Now, before the oil and gas, there was a big challenge in most of our training institutions where they didn't have all these equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So after we discovered oil and gas, the government worked with the World Bank and spent quite a bit of money and imported quite a lot of equipment into 3 schools, starting with 3 schools. So you had Kikam Technical Institute, you had Takra Technical Institute, and you had the Regional Maritime University right here in Accra, all being given about $57 million worth of equipment. That was not enough, and the government has continued to work with the other technical training institutions and through a program is rolling out quite an extensive investment in equipment, which is a very, very important requirement, without which you cannot provide the kind of skill that you need. So that's one. The second part of it is that you need to find the competent instructors, which is quite challenging because while we have quite a number of instructors, they don't have the experience. So think about it this way. Somebody is teaching a technical institute or technical university, but he himself has not worked in the oil and gas or the mining sector. And yet is expected to train somebody to go and work in this sector and provide him the hands-on skills necessary. That could be quite challenging. So part of what CPI does is that we work with schools and institutions around the world to bring the expert knowledge right here to our technical training institutions to partner with our local instructors to help provide the skills. The third condition is the curriculum. Again, before oil and gas and all that, we found out that the curriculum that are being used in our technical institutions did not meet the needs of the industry. So the person would complete school but doesn't have the skills that the company wanted, simply because the curriculum that was used to teach the person was not up to the international standard, or was not what the skills that the person required. So in this case, you need to import some of these curriculum. So we worked with Canadian post-secondary institutions, and they provided us some of these curriculum to use to train people in Ghana. The last bit of it is the consumables. Now, this is very important, because when you are working in an area where you are providing hands-on skills, you need the consumables to be able to practice. Now, unfortunately, in Ghana, we don't have some of these in our technical institutions, because the government provides, and even now we are free SHS in some of technical institutes, and the government pays for the consumables, which is really not enough in terms of the funding that
sorry, 506, I've added you. You can just hold on the line, please. 501, please hold on the line. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, my brother Mohammed. Please continue. You were talking about the need for consumables so they can get hands-on skills and experience, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So now we needed to find a way to address these 4 areas that I've talked about. And so what we then did was we worked with the existing institutions that already have the equipment by bringing in the people with the skills, providing all the consumables, and also ensuring that they had the right curriculum to provide the training. And to pay for it, that's a big issue, because, government doesn't have the funding. We talk to companies, and we encourage them to use their corporate social investment funds, because they eventually themselves will need these people. We encourage them to use some of these monies, and then they provide the training. And also in some cases, for example, with some of the mining companies that we work with, they themselves bring people from their companies or their communities where they support, and then we then take these people through these intensive training courses, which then equip them to be able to work. So I think there are quite a number of challenges, and there are a number of approaches that need to be used. One is, of course, the reform of the TVET system, as is going on in the country, where government is trying to bring or align all the existing technical training institutions and bring them together. But that is going to take quite some time, because currently the technical institutions are spread across 15 different government ministries, departments, and agencies. You need to they are consolidating all of them under the Ministry of Education, which is a very bold and very good step that would bring all of them together, so that you can have the right coordination through the Council for Technical Vocation Education Training and all that. And this is important, because for a country where you have a lot of unemployed graduates coming out of our universities, and government having a limited number of job placements for them, you need to give them the skills, the hands-on, that will enable them either start their own businesses or be able to go into direct employment with those kind of skills. And we are finding that there's abundant opportunity in Ghana, but to harness those skills and to get people to get the jobs, you really need to give them the hands-on skills. So we have a lot of we have a lot of graduates of institutions, but they don't have the hands-on skills. And so they are not being very productive, and it's making it difficult for companies to employ them, or they themselves to employ themselves, simply because they do not have those skills. But I think with some of the initiatives being undertaken, I think we can begin to bridge this gap between what industry requires and what is available out there.
My brother, if you could please hold it there. There's so much I could say about what you've just said there, but I'm going to allow caller 501 to interact with us. Greetings, caller 501. Who do we have on the line? Greetings. Caller 501, are you there? Okay, no, caller 501. Sorry, I wasn't able to add you. I thought I did. My apologies. 501, if you want to call back, you can. Okay, my brother, you was telling us about that huge gap between the needs of industry and the skills, training and qualifications that our young brothers and sisters in Ghana actually have, and the huge amount of investment that the Ghanaian government has already gone to the World Bank to get money for to do, which is to build all of these technical universities so that it could and buying all of the equipment etc. needed in order to deliver the training, so that Ghanaians can actually get some of these jobs that these multinational corporations are actually that have available or could have available to Ghanaian people. It's really interesting because, you know, you're telling me a story, you're telling a story to someone who's on the other side of the pond, so to speak, or the other side of the fence, yeah? And so here in the UK, we actually work alongside, you know, the Europeans here, and so, you know, we're probably more familiar from their perspective about what the issue is in terms of creating jobs and opportunities in Africa. When the governments here talk about going to Africa to set up their businesses to create jobs and opportunities, they're not talking about creating jobs and opportunities for Africans. They're talking about creating jobs and opportunities for their people. Yeah, and they're providing the skills and the training that their people need here, not even us in the diaspora, that their people need first and foremost in order to do the jobs wherever they are in the world. So when you get, you know, European countries going to Africa and setting up, you know, mining companies, mining industries, or oil or gas industries, or whatever else, they've already calculated the number of jobs that they are going to be creating for their people, not for our people. Yeah. So what they've got to do in order to justify not giving the Africans the jobs, they've got to come up with their reasons and their rationales and their excuses why, you know, they don't have to give the Africans the jobs. And this line that they are spinning right now is a line and a yarn that we have heard told to us during our lifetime living here in the UK, why they have not given us equal access to jobs and opportunities that they have here. Yeah, there are large numbers of unemployed Africans here in the UK, and they're unemployed even though they've gone through the schools and the same colleges and the same universities as their white counterparts. Even though they have the same qualifications as their white counterparts, they are not getting the same jobs here as their white counterparts because of racism, because of discrimination, because of selective recruitment practices, because of institutionalized racism that's keeping our people out of those institutions and organizations and away from those jobs and opportunities. And the excuses that, you know, our people don't have they used to be able to say that we don't have the skills and qualifications, but now a lot of our people are overqualified. So we even have some of our people who go for those jobs and are being told that they're overqualified for those jobs. Okay, so the reality is that, you know, and it is really painful to hear that the government has invested so much money, you know, in training to try and, you know, enable, to try and equip their people to access those jobs that were not there for them in the first place. How long have they been spinning, you know, our people that yarn for? If you understand my sort of colloquial talk there. How, my brother Mohammed, for how long has it been that our people in Ghana have been trying to upskill and equip Ghanaians so that they can access these jobs with these industries? Hello, are you still there? Okay, I think I shocked you into silence. Sorry about that.
I didn't get some. No. I didn't get some of what you were saying, but you were asking me how long we've been trying to get Ghanaians to get jobs. Yeah. Is that what the question is?
Yeah, in the gas and oil industries and in these other industries that have been set up by these foreign companies.
Oh, okay, good. I mean, for oil is relatively new. The discovery was in 2007. Production started in 2010. So let's say we've been 10 years in production. Mm-hmm. And yes, if you look at the number of jobs that we've been able to get, I should have the numbers somewhere. We could have done much better. And I think I share some of the sentiments that you raised about the fact that they use some of these strategies to minimize the extent to which local labor are employed. And one of the ones that we are facing and we find is that some of them come from different countries. And now, for example, a company comes from, say, UK. Another company comes from, say, Norway. Another company comes from, say, Italy.
They're all European.
And all of them have different... Yes, they're all European, but they claim that they have different certification requirements. So, for example, if I were to go and get trained and have, say, a UK City and Guilds qualification, this may not be recognized by, say, an Italian company.
Yes,
or
they're playing one off against the other.
The Norwegian company may say, well, the one we recognize is DNVGL. And an American company will say, we also recognize only the American Welding Society. So again, you could see a sense of frustration on our side, because then you are trying all the time to make sure you get all these certifications. So
it's like they're dangling carrots. It's like what they do is they dangle carrots, yeah, and then they have us as Africans continuously jumping to try and catch the carrot. And every time you think you might get that bit of that carrot, they just move it a bit higher. They move it a bit higher. But if you put the squeeze on, then they might let in one or two. They're very strategic in what they do, you know. And we really got to stop, you know, expecting, people who don't look like us, don't like us, to be giving us jobs. Yeah, we've got to be creating our jobs for our people. We've got to be the ones who are creating the jobs and opportunities for our people. Yeah, creating the industries and utilizing the resources within our environment for our benefit, and not allowing others to come from overseas using our resources on our land for the benefit and enrichment and development of their countries, you know, and not even give our young people the jobs and opportunities. It's like somebody coming in your house, you know, and you have some valuables in your back garden, and you said to them, okay, you can mine those valuables in my back garden, but, you know, what I'd like you to do is to employ some of my children so that they can eat some food, you know, from the valuables that you're getting in my back garden. And these people, you know, who you've allowed to come in and mine the food, are saying, yeah, they can come in, but they need to have A, B, C, D, X, Y, and Z. And knowing that you don't have the facilities or the ability to be able to give them, you know, the requirements that they're needed. But in the meantime, they continue extracting all of your wealth out of your back garden while your children are there hungry and looking on. No, you know, we've got to come to the point where we're saying, as you know, where our governments are saying, you are not going to be allowed to take, you know, an inch of a resource out of our back garden, out of our continent, out of our land, unless, you know, 60%, 70% of the employees are Africans. And we have to have, you know, those sort of requirements. That's the only language that these people will understand. They won't like it. You know, they'll try and reduce the percentages, but otherwise they'll continuously have us jumping for those carrots.
Yes,
sorry to burst your bubble there, but, you know, it's the reality.
You made a very strong point about the need for us. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, my brother.
Yes. So I heard you made a very good point about the need for us to have the right regulations or laws and the right institutional framework to protect our own people and to make sure people get jobs. For example, again, I mentioned the local content law in the oil and gas industry, and I remember when it was passed by Parliament, the idea in 2014, the idea was that this act was going to have 50% Ghanaian ownership and 50% Ghanaian jobs and all that. Very nice, 90% jobs, 50% ownership, 90% jobs in the industry in the next 10 years. And it sounded quite aspirational. But now we are approaching, in 2024, we are approaching that, but most of the targets that the government set have not been met.
No, and they won't be met, and they try and move it.
They keep moving the goalposts, in a way that makes it quite difficult.
And they will continue to do that. We know that very well.
Also, another area is another law that we try to use to, now we are trying to pass our own laws to say, look, we are not going to be chasing one certification after another. We are going to have our own local, what we call the Black Star standard or the gold standard in Ghana, which will be equated to, say, your international standards. And rather than we chase yours, when your people come down to work in Ghana, they need to have our own certification before they can work.
I like that one. Now, yes. Flip the script. Yes.
So this is a process that is started, and for the oil and gas industry, we are looking at setting up the institutions, giving them the mandate and the right frameworks and the auditing and all the things that they require to be able to start this process. Now, once that is done, that becomes much, much easier for us to be able to insist, because if you come and say, well, we need you to have this, and I would say, no, it's rather you need to have ABC, because we now have institutions in Ghana that are training to those requirements, and they are as good as anyone you would find anywhere in the world. And that is a very good strategy to be able to counter the other strategy of saying, well, I'm from this country and I only recognize certification from my country, and any other certification you need to go and take an exam.
That's right. Also train up our people to take over as well these industries, because they're the sort, rather than because they're not about creating jobs for Africans, they're about creating jobs for their own people first and foremost. Okay, that's what they are about. And if they feel that they're not going to be able to get the opportunity to create their jobs for their own people, they will look to go elsewhere, and they'll try and find a softer touch or a softer government somewhere else. So we do need to be prepared to take over these industries. And you was also talking about graduates going into business entrepreneurship type training so that they could take advantage of the opportunities there in Ghana. And we were talking about the opportunities there earlier today in this show, and it's something we talk about all the time, because when we leave here from the UK and we go to Africa, we can see the gaps, we can see the opportunities, but we also recognize, as you were saying as well, that the curriculum that is taught to the young people in your country is an outdated one, and it's outdated for even European industries, let alone relevant, and it shows the extent to which it's irrelevant for Africa's own growth and development. So quite often, what we as Africans tend to be doing, I think, on the continent, and I'm just speaking from my own personal perspective on this, we look to see what skills and qualifications we can get in order to continue serving our former enslavers, rather than looking to see what resources we've got on our land locally, ecologically, that we need to be, focusing on getting the skills to be able to extract, refine, and produce goods from. So that's how skewed, I think our education is. And so because our education is so skewed away from us actually looking at the, the ecology of our environment and the economic potential of what's underneath our feet, we're looking for people to come from China, from India, from Europe, to come and create jobs for our people. This is 2020, time for change. So, let's talk about how we can be bringing about change. Now, it's 52 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock. My show was supposed to finish at 1. I will finish at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I purposely stayed on because I know the next presenter isn't coming up, because I wanted to hear from you. And my apologies the way the conversation's gone, because, from what I was hearing, I was just like thinking, what? They've got our brothers and sisters running around the marbly bush here. I can see the game that they're playing, running our people around their finger. But, there are opportunities. We've got a brother, Jamenyah, who's in Ghana right now. We were speaking to him earlier. Were you able to listen to the show earlier?
No.
Oh, you missed it. Oh, okay. Well, I'll put it up on YouTube so that you can hear. But we've got a brother named Jamenyah.
Okay.
He's actually in Ghana right now. Whereabouts are you in Ghana?
Yeah, I'm in Accra at this time.
Accra. Well, maybe we can put you in touch with each other. And, because I know that you are looking to see how we might be able to assist, your business in some way. And so there's only a limited amount of time, but maybe Brother Jamenyah can spend more time with you, getting an understanding of your business as well. But just give us a little bit of an idea of, what sort of support you might be looking for from us as the Diaspora to help with your business, which is the training company. Is it the training company that you're looking for support for? CIP training?
Yes, we are training. I think the key thing that the diaspora community can look at in terms of support, not only for my company, but generally for the country, is the investment that you spoke about. I think it's really important, because that has been the key with which the foreign companies have been able to dominate our economies and has allowed them to dictate the terms by which the employment and other benefits, and they are able to dictate to our governments how they want investments, how to make their own investments, and as a result, they are able to find a way to take all the capital or all the profits away after they make the money. So, and that is a big challenge. And I think one way to address that is to get people like yourself promoting what you are doing and continue to do what you're doing, to get more of our people to come and work with us, because I think there are quite a lot of opportunities in the agricultural sector, in the oil and gas sector, in the mining sector. And these areas, even though we've been mining for the last several hundred of years, there are still a lot of opportunities that if we are able to change some of our policies and not allow the foreign companies to continue doing the things they are doing, I think some of the benefits will begin to come to Ghanaians. And again, for example, in the oil and gas industry, again, we need to change costs. We need to change some of the way we are dealing with some of the foreign companies. I like the fact that now we have a Ghanaian company that has made a discovery, which is a very good achievement. But we need more of these companies. We need more of them to replace the foreign companies, and then in that way you begin to see us harness all the potential that we have. And again, the other thing that I would say is that there is a big opportunity for training in Ghana, and I think people are underestimating the value of training or hands-on training. We have a lot of education now. In the beginning, we didn't have education. There's a big difference between education and training. And here by training, I'm really focusing on technical vocational education and training, because I see that while we've made the effort to train, to educate our people and to set up the universities and to set up the secondary schools and all that, the kind of education that they provide is still making most of the graduates still want to wait for the jobs from government and multinationals and all that. And so that has to change. And the approaches to do that is to really give people the entrepreneurship skills, but also the hands-on skills, because you find that they are the people who are able to really build this country. And I think if we are able to do that, we will be able to transform.
I'm going to put you in touch with our brother Jamenyah. You're speaking to his heart, because you know he's a qualified engineer, and I know his heart is to to be able to offer engineering skills training in Africa. And from what you said, you are already set up to deliver. You said welding, I think electrical and other hands-on type training. And technical training. I agree, invaluable. Entrepreneurship training, I know how highly, our brothers and sisters on the continent actually value training, especially if it means that, it's going to lead to them getting, if not a job, starting up their own business. But we've got to move away from this job, this job, staying just over broke, while, the owners of the industries that we work for are making the millions, the billions and the trillions for their countries, Yes. So we've had a good conversation. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to call in. We will continue the conversation. I know we're going to have a bit of a presentation from either yourself or from Lucy at Summit of Solutions as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And thank you so much for explaining, to us as well how it is that these investors, are where they are. It's because they're investing, so they're dictating the terms. And our governments at the moment feel that they either have to accept the terms or, be denied the investments. So, the diaspora, if we develop and continue to grow on the continent to be, investors in place of these other investors, what do? We give the jobs to our people. With the farming that we was just talking about, we haven't imported people from here to do those jobs. We had 40 people. Brother Jamenyah's got about 40, local people working on the farms. He's working with African farmers, and they're now looking at fruit production, juicing production. This is what we've got to be doing, and let's do more of it. So thank you so much for making the links. We'll probably continue the discussion down the line. but it's been a pleasure speaking with you. My apologies to anyone that maybe wanted to call in and interact with you. We've run out of time now, but we will be continuing the conversation. Yes, so rise up, my brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, great to have spoken with you. One love. So that's our brother Mohammed there, and is a link via brother Kwame. Rise up, brother Kwame, from Nottingham, and we're also going to hear from one of his business partners, Lucy, at Summit of Solutions. But as you can hear from that conversation, family, sorry, I couldn't help but go into the politics of what's going on there, and I was trying to be as mild about it as I could. So I've been on for the last 4 hours. If you've been keeping it locked from the top of the show, I want to thank you so much. And, I will be back, all being well, I'll be seeing you on Sunday, won't I, for Summit of Solutions. Yes, it's been a long time coming for some, but it is now here and, almost upon us. And I certainly hope that you will be joining us at Summit of Solutions for us to continue the conversation that we're having online as well, over the air as well, about the opportunities that are there on Mama Africa. Just in case, maybe you're a first-time listener and you haven't heard our advert about Summit of Solutions, get your pens ready. I'm going to play the advert right now as part of my outro, so that you've got the details for Summit of Solutions, which is where we're going to be continuing to talk about how we can contribute towards the development and the advancement of Mama Africa land from right here in the UKKK.
Summit of Solution, our purpose and intention towards our African liberation.
Date for your diary.
Sunday the 15th of March 2020 at the Classique.
From 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. 18 Upper Tooting Road, Tooting Beck,
SW 17 7PG.
And the main theme for our Summit of Solutions meeting is going to be about diaspora economic opportunities in Africa. The Russians are having Russia-Africa Summit. The Chinese are having their China-Africa Summits. The Europeans are having their European-African Summits. The UK-Africa Summit. We need to have our Diaspora Africa Summit as well.
Summit of Solution is no illusion. Sunday the 15th of March 2020 at the Classique. That is our own purpose and intention.
And the nearest tube to Classique, family, is Tooting Beck. It's a very, very short walking distance from from Tooting Beck tube station. So certainly hope that we will be seeing you there this coming Sunday. We have got to be the solution to our problems, as you've heard from our caller there. They keep moving the goalposts and it's just an excuse and a justification to keep our people out of those jobs that were never created for our people in the first place anyway. It was created for their people back home, okay? But of course they're not going to tell the African government that, and they're not going to tell the African people that either. They'll keep them, learning studying a curriculum that's outdated and is no good to them in Africa and no good to them for the jobs that they're going to be creating for their own people. How wicked is that? Oh my days. Anyway, Galaxy family, Sister Shanice preparing to log out now and hand over back to the studio. I want to thank you so much for keeping it locked. Look forward to seeing you this coming Sunday at Classiques for our Summit of Solutions meeting, and I will be putting the show up on YouTube as well. Okay? Rise up, brother Anu, back in the studio. This is Motherland. This is a track that was produced by Afrobia, none other than Adam. Rise up, brother Adam.
Yeah. Motherland. Ooh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. I feel it, yeah, motherland. I'm coming, come to a place where the spirits fly. Yeah, and I can hear you calling.